Fourever rivals. I'm just ready here for the fucking barrage of fucking attack they're giving me. So I'm just fucking protecting myself here, mate. I just got all the fucking protection here. How are we all going?
We are doing good. As I said, mate, I've been a very happy man since Thursday night.
You would be too.
100%, mate. Are you
Manny,
happy?
how are you? You're fucking.
I'm good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the end of round one. Yeah, it's been a warm day, Rocco. I've managed to have the day off today, so I've kept me liquids up and kept myself nice and cool in the house, and of course looking forward to listening to your fairy stories today, Michael.
Yes. Good evening, boys. Good evening, boys. What a week of football it's been, eh?
It's always a week of football.
I'm not going to go hard on you tonight, mate. I totally understand how frustrated and embarrassing you might be in regards to the Thursday night game.
I'm going to go hard on you. So you better go hard on me.
I'm just going to release the lead, but it has to come out. It has to come out. It has to come out. The spud has to come out for the rest of the night. So my apologies again, Rocco, but it is what it is. Yes. And the spud will be available for the rest of the night.
All right. I like it. Well, since we're bringing out the props, I do have to. I'm going to give out a shout out if everyone's happy with that. And it is someone's birthday. It's actually not a birthday. It's actually like a anniversary maybe. And not you, Mark. I'm talking about it is an anniversary, right? So I'm just going to bring out the cake. And here we go. So we want everyone to sing happy anniversary to Essendon. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy 7,500 days of not winning a final. Happy anniversary to you. See, I've got the 0 there because that's how many finals you've won in 7,500 days. So what I'm going to do now is we can all have a piece of this. So everyone come down. We'll have a piece of that. We have a piece of the 7,500 days of not winning any final, like 0, right? But what we're going to do, right, is I'm going to have a running countdown from now on. So we're going to put the days up every week just to remind everyone, like, how pathetic you've been. So everyone come down and we can have a bit of cake. How's that sound? Let's say hi to everyone.
What cake is it, Rocco? What cake is it? What's the cake?
It's a lemon meringue, like a lemon sponge cake. Oh, nice. Look at that.
It is pretty nice.
Lemon, just like you blokes, a bunch of lemons, right? So
I do like how you've deflected it straight away from your own team's performance, but
No. And Liam, here we go. We're talking, and we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that. But I can see you've come out fighting, but you better be careful, mate, because you've got a 54-year-old man here who's been through the fucking ringer. So we'll talk about that very, very soon, my friend. We'll talk about that very soon, my friend. But before we go on, let's just say hi to the most important people out there, yeah? Sammy Taylor, welcome, brother. We got Enzo. 2 rivals will be smiling, the other 2 ranting. That's what happens. Mate, it's very rare that you get 4 rivals smiling on this show. We got Matula, everyone's favourite Greek. Here we go. See, they know what we're saying. Hi, Matula, Rocco's favourite Greek, of course. Lou, how are you, Lou? What do we got? Oh, of course, we got Scotty Tompkins. How we go? Still waiting to hear the back 6 man. He's probably written them down since then. Tracy Reed. Welcome, Tracy. Who else have we got here? We got Lana. How are you, Lana? Hope you're doing well. We love you, Lana. He's always here. He's got nothing better to do than watch these shows every single day. So there you go. We've got Tony. Now I want all the opposition supporters, mate. I want you all to come on, mate. Like, what's going on, man? We really need you, man. Here he is. I'm sure he'll come on. Happy anniversary to the 7th winner final. Yes, and this is our friend Black and White United. I'm expecting you to come on a bit later because I think you're going to have a few things to say, which I'm very. He's not happy. You've got fucking Scotty upset now. You've got Scotty.
Nah.
It was an embarrassing loss for my beloved Blues, but I'd rather see a loss again and again than be an Essendon supporter. You know what? I'd almost agree to that. We've got a few new people here. Louis P. How's it all going, Big Rocco? Yes. The Blue Bagger. So everyone's in here. I'll be here. I'm sure you will, man. We look forward to the Black and White. And as I said, man, share this around to all your Essendon and Richmond supporters, man, all of you, man, and get on here because we're ready to rock and roll tonight. How's that sound? We all good?
Rock and roll.
We're all here to rock and roll. I get the comments out, and we're going to get onto the calls. People call. I'm going to put in the link fairly early. We'll do a bit of a chat, but then I want to get straight into the calls because, as I said, I think everyone's ready to, and I'm ready for it, mate. I'm fucking ready for it, mate. Unlike Carlton, I show up every fucking week, mate. I do not miss out, mate. I'll take my punishment. Yeah, let's go. You want to do some media stuff before we go? Let's do some AFL stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to leave this open to you and also to the chat, right? And if anyone if we got something to say and it gets a bit fiery and someone wants to get on, put it out in the chat and I'll put out the link and you can get on and ask us a question even now if you want, man. It's up to you guys, man. Really, this show's about you guys, so we'll do that. I'll leave it open to the other rivals here if we've got something to say. I know, Liam, you wanted to talk a little bit about the tribunal. You weren't happy with what you saw?
Look, yeah, it's interesting. So obviously we had one of our own players, Tom Lynch, go, and he decided to challenge his bump on Tom de Koning, which I thought was pretty interesting, to be honest. I thought it's pretty clear now. If you like to bump and you hit the player in the head, it's a week. And yeah, I saw it. I was like, yeah, he's probably going to get a week, fair play. But it's the Jackson Archer one for me. I saw that and I was like, man, that's really stiff to be getting 3 weeks for that. Terrible accident, and I think the Bulldogs player Luke Cleary, obviously, we hope he's doing well and getting better from that. But yeah, 3 weeks for something that's an accident, and like when else do you see that in football? It's a very rare occurrence. I thought he was pretty stiff to get 3 weeks with that, and
I think
AFL, their problem for me forever has been their consistency in their decisions. Is, you know, they'll go for the outcome over what's actually happened. They've looked at it and they're like, well, he's gone through, he's hit a guy in the head and he's been knocked out, concussed, so we're giving him 3 weeks for that reason. When you actually go watch the footage and watch what actually happened, it's kind of like, is that really 3 weeks? Did he really mean to go do that to that guy? He could have snapped his own leg.
Was TDK really? He didn't get concussed, did he?
Well, that's the other thing. If with that Tom Lynch bump, if he'd have bumped him and knocked him out and he didn't return to the game, Lynch would have got 3 weeks. But I don't think that makes the bump any worse than it is, which is where I get a bit frustrated with stuff, because it's kind of like, yeah, look, if he hits him in the head, fair play, it's not good. But I don't think the punishment should be bigger dependent on the result.
Yeah, 100%. We got just Jay Cleves here. I know actually Jay Cleves, right? Yeah, I met him over there. Yeah, and he just lives 10 minutes away, so maybe you two can catch up and have a beer together. So yeah, Jay Cleves is a great supporter. Welcome. Black and White, he says, if there's no concussion and he was okay, is it a free kick for taking out the legs? It is, isn't it? He did dive on the ball. Isn't that the rule?
Yeah.
I don't know sometimes. That's the problem.
Yeah, like Liam was saying, I think I was waiting for you to respond to the actual accident that happened, because I think it comes down to whether the player is concussed or not. So if they're concussed, the player gets 3 weeks. If they're not concussed, they might get 0 or 1 week. So there's
the outcome.
Well, it is the outcome, because those two players were concussed and those players got 3 weeks, where Tom Lynch didn't concuss the player and he got a week. So
but that's what I'm asking. Are you punishing the action, or are you punishing the outcome?
Well, they are managing the action towards the players, if they're concussed or not. So if they're concussed, they'll get the 3 weeks.
That's what I'm.
They might get the 0 or 1 week.
It was worse.
I think if you have a close look at that, I mean, they're both big boys, but Lynch had, I reckon he had the opportunity to just maybe, you know what, this is not going to work. This is not going to look good. You know, I've got the opportunity to pull back, but he didn't. He didn't. And if you look at it over and over again, you can tell that, you know what, he's thinking himself, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go in. And whatever happens, happens. And these are the consequences.
The problem is there, right? And the Kanga player was also, he was reckless, but 3 weeks is obtuse. And I agree. And the issue is the charge and sentence is given before the case can be pled. It's guilty or not guilty, which is skewed against the punished player. And that is correct. Yeah. The problem is, right, I've always said this, right? I understand you have to protect the player. I get that, right? But what are we taking away from this game? Like, they get trained to first to the ball, you know what I mean? And then they do that, and then they get punished for it because, you know, like, you know, it could be just a slight incident. And you think about it, it's all a matter of inches or millimeters, because you collect someone, right? And you get your 3 weeks, right? Because he's concussed. But you miss him by an inch, right? You get nothing. You know, it's not. It's in the outcome.
Yeah. So obviously the game will eventually become bruise-free football, mate. Because if you're in a contest at 50-50, you're going to hesitate just in case you hit that player in the head. So it's going to slowly become, you know, these hard plays that go in hard, they're going to start thinking twice about going for the ball. And the game would become bruise-free, mate. Is that what we want? You know?
No. I think it's just, if you know, if certain things you can look at, and you know whether it's the drop, both players have got the eye on the ball, and it goes pear-shaped. And there are other situations like Tom Lynch's one where I reckon Tom Lynch had a chance to withdraw or move his body in a different way. He didn't, and as simple as that. And that's what they're going to be looking at from that one. They're going to be looking at the way the player's behaving, the way the player's acting, and the intent, and that intent is that's going to cause the problems for the players.
I think Tracy comes up with a good point. Problem is, if he stops and pulls out of the contest, media would have come out with all types of rubbish, and supporters would have said he was weak and not prepared to go with the turn. And that is 100%, right? And that's what we do. If the player doesn't go in, right, we're going to attack him. If you see a player pull out of the contest, what do you call them straight away? They're weak, man. And it happened. Yeah, and it happened in the Richmond Carlton game. I called Akers weak all week now. I've called him a weak prick for pulling out at one of the contests, right? He shouldn't have pulled out, man. And he pulled out, and Richmond grabs the ball and takes off, you know. And you saw him pull out. I don't know. Was he protecting himself? Was he protecting? I don't know. But you're right. As soon as you see a player pull out, mate, everyone goes for him. So it's almost like they're in a position they can't win. You know what I mean? Either they go in or they don't go in.
Yeah. No, you're right. Enough.
And this is the other thing. This is the other thing. Sorry. No, not this one. This one. The decision needs to be made in a split second. I'm not sure what he could have done. Only option is to sit there and watch the ball. And that's another thing. They slow down the footage. They show it and they go, oh, he had time and bada bing. But when you're out there, it's made in a split decision. They've got to make it in a split second. They've got to make this bloody decision, right?
You've got to act. Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Remember what Kennedy used to say, the coach, don't think, do, and that's what they train players to do. And all of a sudden now you've got to go out there and you've got to have a law degree to work out all the dynamics and everything of the game. So it's a bit weird, but unfortunately, this is what we've got to live with now, yeah?
Yeah. Going on the suspensions for concussion and so forth, but with concussed players, I'm not quite sure if you boys are aware of it, but as the AFL or the actual intimate clubs, is there a rule there that says if a player has been concussed, say, 3, 4, 5 times, have they got any right to kind of, delist them or move them away from the club? I'll just give you an example of Starcevic from Brisbane. He's been concussed 4 times in the last 8 months. Jordan Ridley from the Essendon Football Club has been concussed 3 times in the last just under 2 years. Is there a rule out there that states that if you get concussed so many times, what responsibility has the AFL or the club or the club doctor has got on that factor? So I just want to see if you guys or the viewers have got any information on that.
Maybe someone in the chat can enlighten us. Maybe someone in the chat. As far as I know, they can advise the players. The doctors can advise the players. They can't stop them from going out there and playing.
Yeah. So what happens in maybe 20 years' time when the player is suffering from memory loss and so forth? Can he come back to the AFL and say that I'm concussed?
Well, at the moment they can, but we've actually talked about this before, guys. And remember that we said that one day I reckon they'll be signing bits of paper saying you can't come back at us no matter what happens. You know what I mean? So
yeah, just a question of concussion.
Yeah, but it's like with injuries and that. I think sometimes the players need to be saved from themselves. It's more that kind of like, look, I'm fine. I want to play. But yeah, if you've got a medical expert coming in saying it's probably in your best to not play, like that comment, like people do get medically retired. Sometimes it's the right thing. As a player, as a competitor, you want to keep going. But if the smart move is like, look, you're going to do yourself some damage, 20 years down the track, then you have to make the smart decision.
A lot of these players, this is their bread and butter. Yeah, you got to remember something. This is them making an honest living, and all of a sudden, you got to look at it as a work injury. So therefore, if it's because that's their bread and butter. So if it's a work injury, then what the club needs to do is they need to say, you know what, we need to protect you. We need to look after you. Because at the end of the day, the biggest problem is that if these players have been told, well, you know what, you can't play. These injuries have caused you a number of problems. What do you do then? You just all of a sudden you tell them there's the door. So it's about protecting the players, but it's also about looking after the players. So that's the biggest problem.
But how often, man, is someone going to come up to you and say, "I've got another back problem. I've got another back problem. I've got another back problem." Eventually, the company's going to say, "Well, see you later." Because
it's capable of doing their job.
Yeah, but they're not able to do their job is one thing, but the fact that they've, because you're talking about the injuries they occur while they're playing the game, it's about also what's the club going to do for the player. That's what it's about. Some players are lucky enough to maybe move into a different department in the company, but you've got to look after the players like you're looking after someone in the workplace. Shouldn't be any different.
This is where
a lot of them, that's all they know.
Yeah.
A lot of them, that's all they know. They end up playing football at a young age. They get picked up. 4 or 5 years later. That's all they know. They've got no other than football. And then all of a sudden, you hear stories that he's ended up. You hear these hard luck stories with football players and drugs and all the other stuff that's involved because they're stressed. There's no one to support them. So you need to be able to support these players. It's like anything.
Yeah, spot on. No, you're spot on there, Manny. But would you as a Brisbane, say, club, would you start thinking and considering that this player has been concussed 4 times in 8 months? Would you look at re-signing him for another year or two, or would you start thinking about maybe passing him on? You know what I mean? It's just a statistic that tells you.
We had, and I'm sorry that I've forgotten his name, but we had a very, very good player who ended up hanging his boots. That's right. Murphy ended up hanging up his boots because he realised that, you know what?
That was his choice. Well,
it was his choice, but I reckon that the club has turned around and said to him, you know what? I think this is what you should do. At the end of the day, it is your choice. But I don't think the club's neglected him. I don't think the club's just decided to. I reckon the club.
I think the clubs will recommend it for sure, man. Like, because they don't want the liability either. Black and White United, we're talking about Maynard because Scotty Tompkins said about the thug and he got nothing, and then in comes Black and White from the side. He reckons it was a smother, and 2 minutes before, it doesn't matter that it was a smother. If you're talking about it's about the outcome, right? You can't now say it was a smother, because I'm sure Lynch went in and he was going in for the ball. There was no intention. He might have not lined him up, but the outcome ended up knocking him not only out of the game, out of the competition by the end of it, you know. So you can't say on one hand, like that's a smother, but you know, like at the end of the day, look, I don't want to go back to that incident, but probably I think the AFL kind of admitted that was a wrong call after that, because they've kind of changed the ruling now. So, but that's all right.
That's back to my original argument. Are you punishing the action?
No, and you're right. I know. Sorry. And you're right. It was definitely a suspension, and he didn't get it. That's what we're saying, you know. But he had no intent. No, he never. Let's be serious. Maynard never had an intention to end anyone's career. In saying that, I like the way Maynard goes about it, and you know, does his actions and then worries about the consequences later on. You know. So
he's a tough player. He's a tough player. You can't take that away from him. He's a tough player.
He's a tough player, exactly, and you need those players in your game. Sorry, Liam, what were you going to say?
No, I just said it. I said that with that one, it was back to my original point of, is it action or outcome that we're punishing?
Yeah, and it usually is. In that instance, it wasn't, but it usually is. Let's move on, because I do want to get to some calls. I sound like a radio announcer. I want to get to some calls. I just quickly, before we go into the games, there is one more I wanted to talk about quickly. It's a bit of a fun one, but it's here. Sorry. Let's have a look at this. This is the new mascot. Is this a joke, or have I been fooled here? Is this the mascot? Because I've seen plenty of posts about it. He's actually at one post I saw, he's eating a footy and then he shits it out and it's all torn up. Is that one of the ugliest things you've seen in your, like, what how can you sit in a committee and go, right, let's do a mascot, right? And this is what you come up with. If you actually see video of it, it looks, it's, I don't even want to use the words what it looks like. It is what does everyone think about this?
That is a thing of nightmares. That, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to sleep.
Imagine kids taking photos with that thing there.
I like it. I like it.
You like that? It looks, I'm telling you, and if you actually see it, it looks like this half robot, it moves real weird. You know, like it's just terrible, man. It's just terrible. I doubt they'll keep this.
And people get paid thousands and thousands of dollars to like create something like this.
I know.
Fuck me, man.
I think it is. I think it's Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What are those things they do? The Spanish the toys that are in there.
Oh yeah, the one where you bash.
You bash.
Yeah, someone's
the piñata. Is that the piñata?
The piñata.
That's what it is.
That is. I'm telling you, I don't really care about mascots and that, but far out, man. I'm telling you.
Well,
I want you to have a look at the video of it. It's what's that?
it does show some teeth and aggressiveness in the actual picture, but apart from that, mate, God knows, is that 3 feet or 4 feet? I don't know.
I like it, and they're smart. The AFL's smart. They've got something that has brought it to our attention. I mean, we're talking about it. A lot of people are going to be talking about it.
Not the AFL, it's Tasmania, man.
Well, it's all part of it's the same bullshit.
That'll make a better mascot.
The AFL wouldn't be telling them how to do their mascot.
Yeah, well, but what I'm saying is, it's I like it. I really like it. I mean, I'd never want to be a fan of Tasmania, but I like it. No, I really like it.
You can't. You're talking shit now. No one can say that is a good mascot. I'm telling you. Have a look at it on video and you tell me if you like this mascot. It's fucking. How are kids going to be attracted to that? Mascots are for kids, mate. They're for kids, mate. You want to see like the magpie. You want to see the blue, the bomber, the tiger. Like even, for example, the tiger, right? The tiger would kill a Tasmanian tiger in real life, yeah? In real life, probably one of the strongest animals in the jungle. But when you see the tiger, he's a smiling, big head running around. That's what you expect the mascot to be. Not that. That's going to give kids nightmares, man. That's shit. It does. It looks like rats. That could probably be Rat Sack.
Oh, boy.
Where is Rat Sack? Where is Rat Sack? All right. Let's go back to this one. All right, you know what we're going to do? Let's get back. I think everyone wants to talk about the games. Really? And let's get into what am I going to do first? All right, we'll get into last week's games. All right, we'll get into last week's games, and we'll start with the debacle on
the
Thursday night.
Oh, boy.
As you can see, it was 82-69. We were 41 points up at halfway through the second quarter, maybe, and then fell over. And it was probably one of the worst performances I've seen with Carlton. It'd have to be right up there with your top 3 to 5 worst.
So your injuries. You got too many injuries at the moment, right?
There was no injuries. We had no one out. There was no injuries. We got Seba. We got Seba in there. How are you, Seba? He was at his nonnas. Hello to Nonna.
So before you go into that game, Rocco, it's fair to say that these are worrying times for the current football club, because
what I saw on, and I don't want to take it away from Richmond, right? Because I'll get you to have your say too, Liam, because it was a great win for you guys. Probably one of your better wins, you know. We go in there and we're expected to win. It's a worrying. It's definitely a worrying sign if it continues. If that continues, what I saw, it's a worrying sign, you know. So it's all about what they do this week, and we're coming up against probably at the moment the best side in the competition.
Yeah,
for sure. Right, so it's going to be tough. What do you want me to say about it? What do you want me to say about it? It was a disaster of a.
When are you referring to continue what doing this against what other clubs, or who else is there but Richmond to continue doing this to? West Coast maybe? North?
No, I mean, no, shut the fuck up. What I'm saying is, if you want to be smart, your team didn't do too well either. So
no,
if you knew what I was saying, was if that continues, that performance, the way they played, it doesn't matter who they play. Hawthorn this week, they got the Doggies, then they got Collingwood. If you play the way you played, right, and fell over after 41 points, then it's worrying.
Oh, shit.
That's the most.
That's scary, Rocco.
This week they come out and somehow win. What do you say about it? I'm still not. I'll tell you right now, even if we win, right, it's going to take now a while for me to trust the club again, right? So I'm going to be completely honest. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's about do you continue the bad defensive display we did? Do we continue the fumbles? Do we continue, you know what I mean, kicking the ball long into Motlop that's got 3 players onto him, you know? Do we continue playing too far up the ground and then you got Lynch on his own in the goal square, you know? If we continue that stuff, it's going to be bad. But, I mean, I heard Voss's press conference today, and, again, shithouse. I didn't like it, right? No. Paul from the Jumper Punch, he was in there, and he actually asked a great question, and it got reflected. It got deflected again, you know? So I don't like that sort of sound, you know? But at the end of the day, it was disgraceful. It was a fucking disgrace from even the first quarter was okay. It wasn't great. You know what I mean? I mean, we were up, but really, at the end of the day, it was just a disgrace. You don't do that. And I didn't like the way Voss went out at 3/4 time. He didn't even go to the huddle. What else do you want me to say? Like, they had their own huddle as coaches before they went out and talked to players. Like, what is that?
Well, get rid of him. Get rid of him.
You can't get rid of him today, but if it continues.
No. Oh, you have to.
But everyone knows that. If everyone that's watched me, right? Everyone knows that what me. First of all, knows that I'm honest about my side. That's the first thing. And everyone that knows from day one, I was never happy about the president. I was never happy about the appointment. I was never happy about it. And you can go back to my shows 3 years ago and listen to my rants. I've always said it, right? Now, but in saying that, once you're there, I'll back you. I'll fucking back you all the way. As soon as you put on that top, I'll back you, you know? But now, something was said last night, and I totally agree. He's on borrowed time now. He's on borrowed time.
Yeah, if you think about it, Rocco. I mean, I can sit here and I can stir the shit out of Carlton because at the moment Carlton is looking pretty poor. But from the finishing from last year, July, up until the end of the season where you played Brisbane, you only beat the West Coast Eagles in North Melbourne.
We've only beaten 2 sides, I know.
Yeah. So you'd think that, you know, with a hard sort of, you know, pre-season preparation and, you know, and you yourself, you know, there's no one unless you've got a real bad gambling problem and you think, you know what, I'm going to put money on Richmond, because even Liam, who's a Richmond supporter, said, you know, I'm not going to go with my heart. I'm going to go with it. The reality is, you know,
this is a good point. You know what I mean? And people can go at me, and yous are all fine, but I want you to find me one person that went for Richmond, right? And there was none. No, you didn't. And I'm going to state something about this fraud in the Essendon jumper. You are a fraud, bro. And I'll tell you why, right? Because during the week, and I'll let everyone know in the audience, he goes, "Oh, can you clip that bit about, you know, when I said it could be an upset?" And I said no. And you know why? Because you wanted to have your cake and eat it too. Because who did you tip?
Well, I tipped Carlton, of
course. No, this is my segment. I just want you to answer one word. Who did you tip?
I tipped Carlton, but I had $20 on Richmond.
Wait, stop. This is my thing. Manny, who did you tip?
No, I said clear as day. I said Carlton was going to be.
Leah, you didn't even back your side, right? So you can all go after me, right? And everyone thought the same thing, right? So what do you want me to say? You fraud, wanted to have your cake and eat it.
I didn't think the same thing.
You said was, no, wait a sec, let me talk. You said, this could be an upset, and then you picked Richmond. It's like the weatherman saying, it's going to be hot, but it might be cold. And then you want me to clip the bit you got right. Let's clip that you said that Essendon would win by 5 goals. You never wrote me a message saying, "Hey, Rocco, can you clip where I said Essendon?" No. So no, unless you went, this will be an upset, and then tip Richmond, you're a fraud. Now that I've said it,
I think you've got more things to worry about than Essendon at the moment, mate.
You said shit. You wanted to have your cake and eat it too. So jam it up your ass. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass it over to Liam, right? right?
Have your fame, mate. Have your fame, Liam.
Because Richmond did win the game, and you deserve to have your couple of minutes here, mate.
There is one clip that I did want you to play, because you did say that you were a 3-goal side, a better quarter, 3 goals a quarter better side.
And you know what, Liam? I still believe we're a 3-goal better side at the moment. We didn't do it on thing, but I still believe that we're a better side. We just got outplayed on the day. I guarantee you play that game again, you don't get the same result. I mean, you played out of your skin, and you deserve the win.
I did tip Carlton. I did say last week, I said, we're not going to get smashed by that much.
I have to admit, you did say it was going to be closer than what people think.
I said it's going to be a close game. No, look, as I said, I'm stoked. How cool is that? Tipping doesn't matter.
Let's forget about the tipping and that, right? Just a couple of minutes, because I did say only 5 minutes on each game, but I knew this one was going to go longer than the rest. How did you feel, brother? Because really, I can just imagine no one gave you any hope, and just come up and
I think you said it as well. That really is one of our best wins, probably last 3-4 years. That's one of the best wins that we've had. It really was, because we were down and out there for a bit. 41 points you were ahead. I think if you'd have kicked straighter as well, maybe it could have been a different story.
But it's too late. It's too late, Liam. Like, I know in the last quarter, there's a stat that we went in so many times. We had 16 shots, all that, but it's too late, man. Like, it really is.
It doesn't matter. I think the most important thing at the start was we stuck in, and we stuck that. It wasn't exactly on our terms. We didn't really get away from us. We stuck with it. End of that second quarter, we get a couple goals. We're going with a bit of momentum. It's kind of like, all right, well, let's see what we can make out of it in the second half. The second half, fantastic, all over it, I think. And it was just simple things, like things that we can sustain. I'm really excited with, like pressure, capitalizing on mistakes. Boss said it in his press conference after the game. He said the biggest thing was we made errors, and Richmond made us pay for it. That was the most impressive thing. It was those efforts. Like Seth Campbell, he had one of the best 8-possession games ever. Shows, but if that's going to be our attitude going forward, that's what I was really excited to see. Is kind of like if we can stick with these simple things like pressure and the fast ball movement. I thought we were pretty aggressive on defense as well. We really pushed up on you guys at times, but there was a lot of positives. I think obviously the young fellas out there in their first games really had an impact. Lawler, the rising star, was really cool to see.
Mate, he's a dusty in the making. Absolute dusting in the making.
100% Dusty 2.0. Every time he went near it, something good happened. I thought Luke Trainer was wicked down back. Happy to see him in the side. Even Harry Armstrong, he didn't have he had a couple big moments in there where it's kind of like you can see his potential. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was Tim Taranto's best game for a while out the midfield. I thought our captain, Nankervis, was our best on ground. I thought Ben Miller had one of his best games down back. Jack Ross had his best game for the club. Yeah, I think more for me, take the result out. If this is the effort and if this is the style that we're going to go in with this season, I think we're going to do all right. And we'll see. Like, I mean, I know we've got Port this week, which will maybe be a tougher game, but a game in a couple of weeks against St Kilda, I'm now looking at that and thinking we should be beating a team like Saints. I think, so much positives. I could sit here and talk all night about it, but there's a lot to like about it.
No, there was a lot to like, and first of all, Seba, thanks, mate, the $2.99 minute, and he did. Manny, get your Yoda out. We also like to say thanks to Oz. Thanks, brother. He's gifted one TJP membership. Thanks, brother. He's a great thing, man. Jump on if you want later on. Look, it was a great win. I still think you're going to finish like low on the ladder because you're a young man. But what you showed is you showed some good signs. And look, I spoke to you before the show last week or during the week or something, and I said to you, I think you've done great with your pickups, and they'll be good players in the future. They just had an outstanding game. These young kids, they're gonna go up and down all year now, and that's what you expect from young kids. You know what I mean? But they definitely showed something, which is good, man. So you got some good young kids there.
That's all it is. It's the positives moving forward. I'm not going to sit here and say, you can expect us to be winning more games. I know it's still going to be a tough season, but if this is the future and this is what we're building towards, and that's the effort that we can put forward and we can do that consistently, I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, 100%. And we have got a Tiger HQ. He used to come on too. So welcome, Tiger HQ. Okay, we will win the flag. If you want to put a bet on that anytime you want, mate, I'll jump on. And you know what, Tiger HQ? You know what, Tiger HQ? Jump on a bit later, mate, and let's have a chat about that. Nah, good stuff, man. We'd love to see everyone jumping on. All right, let's move on. I did want to get to this. I do want to get to the people out there. So there we go. That was the next game. Hawks and Essendon, 111-85. Yeah, I think to me the Hawks just had control of the game all game. They just slowly had that 4 or 5 goals all game. But it's saying that it wasn't actually too bad of an effort by Essendon. But this is your turn, Marco. What do you reckon about your Bombers?
Yeah, no, you're pretty much spot on there, Rocco. Look, teams like Hawthorn, you can't allow them to be, 5 or 6 goals in front in the first quarter. They're a quality side. So it's not like, Carlton where you can be 7, 8 goals and an opposition like Richmond come back. But it's very hard. It's very hard to come back from there. Look, to be quite honest, we were quite level the next 3 quarters. We won our inside 50s. The clearances were in front. Contested possession, disposal count, but still we lost by 4 goals. And that's my theory about the Essendon Football Club. Continuously, every week, inside 50s in front, clearances in front, hard ball gets, whatever the case may be, all this disposal bullshit. At the end of the day, we still can't get those 4 points. And that's what's frustrating me at the moment with the Essendon Football Club. Obviously, we lost, Kyle Langford, consistently, kicking goals for us, and we lost him through the game, and obviously Jordan really through a concussion in the back line. But this is what pisses me off about this club. We continuously are competitive. We keep going inside 50 more than the opposition, and for some particular reason, we just can't get those goals on the board. It's frustrating. We were competitive. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, after quarter time, the game was pretty much even. If anything, we were probably in front. And I think one of the Hawthorn coach said that going through those statistics that Hawthorn should have really lost the game. So look, there's some positives in there. Young players, obviously. We're still missing a few key forwards. Peter Wright obviously still injured, and we also miss Jakey Stringer there. So. Things are going to change next week, but look, I'm still proud of the boys. It's round 1. Hawthorn will play 2 games now, so round 1, and hopefully we can make a few changes next week, get some players in, and be more positive in towards going inside 50 and the clearances and contested possession and disposal counts again.
I reckon, Mark, that the Essendon Football Club has got some real good future if they were to try and get into business with someone like Captain Snooze or someone that, company that sells pajamas, because you guys play a very boring style of football. Now, common sense prevails here, my friend. Your coach, Mr. Scott, got no idea. He did nothing at North Melbourne. He's come over to Essendon. He continues to do nothing. He's making nothing but a little bit of excuses. Sometimes, you know what? You might be a good football player, but sometimes it's about time to sit there and say, you know what? I can't coach. Because you guys potentially forget about the 8. Forget about the 8. Maybe in about 2-3 years' time, you might be thinking about finals football, but you're going to have to change the whole club. Get a bulldozer and clean it all out, my friend.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now.
Talk about
because
what we're going to do. Sorry, and I'll give you your chance. I'll give you your chance, Mark, to respond back. But what we're going to do from now on, Manny, is you can only talk for about a minute because you go over the same thing for about 3-4 minutes.
I've got a timer here. It was 57 seconds.
No chance that was 50 seconds. All right, Marco, a quick response before we move to
the response to that, and you're spot on there, Manny, because these days coaches are scared to make changes. Look, not for anything. Okay, not for anything. You know, a player that we're paying $1.1 million per year, Ben Mackay, whatever his name is, mate, put him forward for a quarter. You know, even this week I was talking to my brother, and I said, you know, we've got some backmen in the reserves at the moment that can come take Ridley's spot and so forth. Throw him forward. Give it a go. The coaches are too scared to make changes these days, you know, like the Sheedy moves and so forth. You know, I get where you're coming from, Matty. We're boring because there's no difference. There's no change. Change it up a little bit. And that could make a difference. That, you know, Mackay could have kicked maybe two goals in the quarter and changed the atmosphere and the momentum going forward. But it's just too, you know what you're saying, man, it's just too predictable. And if we don't start making some different changes, we might be in a bit of strife this year. But I'll still keep being positive, Manny. And Rocco
100%. All right, let's move on. Sorry, guys, mate. I'm sorry for the coughing, but I've got a bit of a sore throat. All right, so the next game was a bit of a debacle the other way. Talk about Carlton being a debacle, mate. I don't know how long Hinkley's going to last, man. 136-45, and they just got smashed from fucking pillar to post. And Hinkley definitely doesn't look like he wants to be there anymore. He's going to have a tough year, man. And when you just quickly, when you announce the new coach for the next year, and then you keep the old coach there, what's that saying about your prospects for that year? You've almost given up already, you know, like it's a bit weird, but anyway, they are a weird bunch over there.
They are.
Manny, this is yours.
Well, on that there, Rocco,
and black and white.
The Collingwood Football Club did that many years ago, where Malthouse was told, you know, the bloke's playing he's playing finals football, and he gets told that next year you're not coaching because we're getting Buckley to come over and it's going to take over the reins. And he's thinking to himself, hang on, I'm about to win a premiership here, and now you're telling me here's a kick in the gut. So,
but he left.
Do you blame him?
No, I'm saying, but he left. He didn't hang around for that.
No, of course not.
And there's a difference between someone like when Melbourne did it and they had Paul Roos, because that was Paul Roos like initiated that. He wanted to stay around. But there's a difference between almost getting told, hey, you know, you've got 1 year in your contract. What we're going to do is we're going to get a new thing. There's a difference there. So what they did was, anyway, what do you think about the game?
Good for Collingwood. I can tell you right now, Rocco, had you not seen the game against GWS and you saw the game against Port Adelaide, you would have thought, what a super team. But as you know, a week they say is a long time in football, and I think the Collingwood Football Club proved that because our team just looked superior. We were dominating in the forwards. We were dominating in the midfield. We were dominating in the back line. Our kicking was amazing, and you know, and of course our 30-year-olds. I mean, you know, apart from Scott Pendlebury, who was sitting on the sub, and of course, you know, this is where, you know, I can answer now the question that what they've done is they've thought about the fact that we've got a lot of players over the age of 30, and it's like an old car. What do? You've got to preserve it. So, but the boys did really well. The commitment towards the ball, the tackling, just everything, and that want to just you know, it was non-stop right through. I mean, okay, they took the pedal off the metal about the last 10 minutes of the last quarter, but it was just brilliant football by Collingwood. That's all I can say. It was just everything. And welcome to football, Mr. Moore, our captain. He was absolutely back to 3 years ago the way he was playing 2 years ago. You know, welcome back to AFL, Mr. Moore.
You've played well, and we'll get black and white on soon. I reckon he'll definitely come on. You've played well. You've played really good. And that's what I was saying about Carlton. It's about the response the week after. But I still can't judge Collingwood. because over 2 weeks you were black and white.
Yeah,
you go GWS, you look like a rubbish, and then you pump Port. Port can't play. Port can't travel. So we'll give them that much. That's why we all picked Collingwood. I think we all picked Collingwood.
But I did say that, had you not seen the game against GWS, right, you would have thought this is a super team. Who because and then when you tell them that last week this is how we played, you think to yourself, wow.
It's a long season, so we'll see where they go. But between one week and the next week, I mean, they responded. That's all you can ask from your team. I'm telling you now. That's all you can ask, man.
Scott Pendlebury, he only played in the last quarter. Or actually, he came in about the end of the third quarter. But 8 disposals, 2 marks. He put a tackle in there.
But I'm not, mate. I reckon I could have gone in the last quarter against Port and got 8 disposals, man. They were absolutely bent over and finished by that point, mate. I'm telling you.
Hang on. But we what's our mate that said, well, what are you going to do with all these geriatrics? Still side bottom, 31 years old, 31 disposals, 3 marks, 6 tackles, and a goal. I mean, where do I go? Jeremy Howe, 10 disposals, 3 marks.
I know, but we'll wait to see when they're playing. We'll wait to see when they're playing the top teams. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is, it was a great effort by you, but like a Port Adelaide, mate, they haven't been able to travel for fucking like 3 years, mate. The blokes are shocking. Is that their only game here at the MPG? I think it is, and they fucked it up that bad. But yeah, you all did well. But let's between 1 week and the other.
Yeah, obviously Collingwood had to do what they had to do against Port, but there was no guarantees there, Manny, mate. There was no really. I think this year the Pies will be still hot and cold, mate. You'll have a few good wins and you're going to have a few bad losses. You played against a side that don't even know who the bloody coach is. All right, they're not even contenders. They're not even contending. So just get the 4 points. You played against Port.
No, listen, it was a good, as I said, man, I'm telling you, and that's what I'm expecting from Carlton this week, man. You want to see responses, man. That's all you want to see, and they responded. You know what I mean? So that's all you can ask for.
And just to finish off, Scotty, just to let you know, matey, that Darcy Moore, Maynard, Jeremy Howe, McInnes, Quainer, and Josh Staples, they were our 6 in the back.
Fuck off, Manny. You come back 7 days later and try to burn someone. Are you serious? Manny, shut up. Don't come up with, you got your son. I saw a bit of paper. You got your son to write you the back 6. No, there's no mic drop there. You're actually looking over to your son now. I can see you. You think that we can't see you?
Where is he?
You are looking over to your son. He's giving you all the stats, right?
Where is he?
You can't come back and our Scotty after 7 days to name the back 6. You're supposed to name the back 6 like that. Like that. Shut up. I don't want to hear you. Let's stop it now before I take you off. You come with a mic drop 7 days later.
He asked the question, Rocco. He asked the question
7 days you took. You took 7 days. 7 days. 7 days, mate. You are one of the biggest frauds there are, mate. A fake member. If there's ever a Barbie plastic supporter, it's you. So I would keep my mouth shut. All right, let's go. Let's move on to what are we doing? Let's quickly move on because I want to get these blokes on. We're going to do tips.
Yeah.
Oh, no, before we do the tips, let's have a look at this. There you go. Your job, Manny. Be quick. Let's get it over and done with. Just let's name where are our clubs. Let's name our clubs.
We'll name our clubs and certainly will. Don't worry about that. Well, look, Magpies 6th spot, but what I like to see this year from the Collingwood Football Club is we've got a nice little bit of percentage at the moment, which is good. It's good to see. And look at that. And we've got the Richmond Football Club who won their first game. And you know what? Liam is happy. He is happy as a one-legged poker. He's happy as one legged Les on a pogo stick. And of course, where's Carlton? Oh yeah, Carlton's down there.
Carlton,
and where's Essendon? You know what? For Carlton, I could say it's disappointing to see them where they are. But for Essendon, Marco, it's just another year. Just another year.
Menos.
That's all right. It's week one. Let's relax. I'll remember all these things, but let's go into next week and let's do our tips, and then I want to get everyone on. So everyone, get ready. I'm going to get you on. Let's do this. We got Carlton Hawthorn. As I said, I'll quickly talk. I think because our game's tomorrow night, so we've already got the teams out. We've got one change. Charlie Curnow comes in, and Frankie. Hey,
that's a good play to have in.
Yeah. Well, let's hope then just not relying on him. I mean, we've got to fix up a lot of the game. I mean, Charlie, I hate that Charlie's your saviour. I don't want that to be. But in saying that, he's going to make a difference to the team. You got Charlie in that forward line. It's going to make a huge difference, you know. So Charlie in, Evans out. Pretty simple. It's going to be a tough game. It's apparently going to be raining tomorrow night. It's going to be a pretty shitty. So, you know, it's going to be a bit of a scrappy game. They have to come out and respond. They have to respond. If they don't, far out. I don't know what to do for the show next week, man. Especially Jumper Punch will be already. Jumper Punch was like it. There was nearly 400 people watching it last night. So yeah, definitely have to respond. But you know what? I'm going to give them one more chance. Right, and I'm picking the Blues, mate. I'm not gonna jump off them just quite yet.
Good on you, Rocco. Good on you, mate. You got to be positive, and you're right. If
anyway, hurry up, just pick up as I want to get to the things. I told you, don't talk your shit now through this tipping. Just pick who you're going to pick.
Not all. You're right. You can't rely on Charlie Curnow. My money's on Hawthorn.
Yep. Mark?
Yeah, I think the Blues will come out firing this Thursday night, but I truly believe that Hawthorn are a 1 goal a quarter better side than Carlton. So I think Hawthorn by 24 points.
I like it. And Liam?
Yeah, your club needs to respond. We need to see something from Carlton, but yeah, I'll be sticking with Hawthorn.
Yeah. Next one, we got the Doggies and Collingwood. That's going to be at the MCG, and Collingwood's going to come back. Doggies played okay. I'm actually going to go to Doggies. I reckon they'll bounce back this week and show Collingwood. Give Collingwood a bit of a touch up this week. They actually always play pretty good against you. Okay, I'm going the Bulldogs. Manny. Good grade.
I'm going for the Magpies.
Of course.
Going for the Pies.
Did you say the Doggies?
I said the Magpies.
Yeah. Oh, who's going? Who? Sorry, was that Manny or?
No, Mark. What did you say?
Oh, I'm just a little bit confused why it's been playing why it's not being played at Marvel and it's been played at the MCG. But anyway, I think the Pies will spoil Footscray's 100th year celebration. So Collingwood for me, just.
Liam?
Yeah, I think Bulldogs struggled to beat North Melbourne last week, and Collingwood looked like back to their best last week. So I'll be taking Collingwood in this one.
Nice. We've got Essendon and the Crows.
A tough one.
I'm going to go, to tell you the truth, I don't usually do this, but I think Essendon will beat the Crows over here.
Nah, Crows for me.
Wow, mate. This game's
sorry, Liam. Before we go to Mark, Liam.
I feel like this is a genuine 50-50, mainly because it's in Melbourne, but I think Adelaide look pretty good, and I have them in my top 8, so I've got to stick with them. I'm going to tip the Crows.
A bit cocky there, Liam, are we now? Let's get one there. But wow, guys, you know, Essendon versus Adelaide at the MCG. Why isn't it played at Marvel? That's a home ground anyway. But it's going to be a tough one this week. It's going to be a tough game. Like you were saying, Liam, it's going to be a 50-50. Obviously, we lost a couple of the players, Kyle Langford and obviously Jordan Riley in concussion. So just get out there and play for your supporters and play for your club and get the 4 points. These are the games that you have to win. You've just got to win these games against interstate sides. So Essendon, for me, I think it's going to be a close one. It's going to be like a bit of an epic game, I think. Essendon by 10 points.
I just got a memo from a mate of mine who works at the MCG, and they reckon that level 1, level 2, and level 3 will be closed. So looks like they're going to struggle to fill up level 1 at the MCG.
Manny, you know, last week's game, the Hawks and Essendon, it was the biggest home and away game between them two.
Yeah, because of Hawthorn. No,
So
there was Essendon.
Supporters there.
And I think it's Hawthorn Essendon is rivalry.
Like 70,000 people. I don't want to stand up for Mark, but you keep saying that, right? But
No.
they had the biggest home and away crowd in the history of their club.
And they should, because it's a rivalry that they have. These two clubs have got rivalry.
So you're talking shit
It's like
again.
Collingwood played Carlton.
Port Adelaide, Richmond. I'm going to go Port. Sorry, I think because it's in Adelaide. Port will bounce back. They're not that bad as they were, but Richmond again will have a good bloody crack at it, I reckon. Manny?
Richmond.
All right. Mark?
There is no way Port can afford to lose this game. And if they do, I'll tell you what, the Tigers get up, mate. Good night, Hinkley.
Oh yeah, that could be close. All right. And then Liam, who are you picking first of all?
Okay, I think we can compete and we can win, but again, I'm going to stick with my old strategy. I'm going to tip with my head. If I get the tip right with Port Adelaide, I'll be happy. If we win, so I'm going to tip Port. But again, like we said, it's not going to be a belting. Still seeing people say we're going to get belted by 10 goals. It's like, did you not watch Port Adelaide last week? They got done by nearly 100 points, and they're now 10 goals better than us. I don't think so. Yeah, but I am going to tip with my head. I think Port have to come out and win, or else, might be see you later, Kenny.
Yeah, no, that's true. And Rat Poison's in the building, and he says, has Rocco clipped? Yes, I have. It's all over social media. We've put the clip of me, Mars, and all that saying how easily we're going to win this game. 100 points. So we have clipped it, Rat Poison. So I know that you wrote a message saying, oh, you've been laughing all week. But really, in your dark dungeon that you live in there and you come out with your smart comments, I don't think you should be laughing. But, Rat Poison, I again extend the invitation. How about you come on, or are you as weak as Carlton was the other day? And I guarantee you will not come on. There you go. All right, St Kilda versus the Cats.
That's a comedy show. Geelong.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cats too, I think. Anyone else going to go for Saints?
Nah, Geelong way.
All right.
Yeah.
We've got Brisbane Lions, West Coast. Everyone going Brisbane Lions?
Yep.
All right, then we've got North Melbourne and Melbourne. This is an interesting game. It's at Marvel. North didn't play that bad. Melbourne played okay, and then, at the end. So I'm going to go Melbourne. I don't know. This is almost, I bet you this will be, I'm going to pick it. Mark's going to be the flip of the coin this one. I'm going to pick Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne for me.
It's unusual that they should be playing it at the MCG. But anyway, I will be going Melbourne for this game.
Oh, you are going to go Melbourne. And Liam?
I want to tip North because I backed them last week, but I can't do it again. I'm going to stick on Melbourne.
All right, we've got the Freo Sydney. And listen, probably Sydney's 0-2, and it's probably two of the better losses I've seen. So, but I think, and Freo looked pretty shocking too, didn't they? This is a tough one, but I'm going to go home ground advantage here. I'm going for Fremantle.
I'm going for the Swans.
Swans, yep.
Yeah, this one here, flip of the coin for me, guys. All right, so it's heads. It's Freo for me.
Yep. And Liam?
The coin. Yeah, this is another 50. This is the hardest one to tip. As much as I think it's hard to see Sydney going 0-3, I just have a feeling Fremantle's going to win this one. I've got a feeling.
I like it. All right. Let's get rid of this and let's what do we got here? We got one more thing to show, and here it is. Here's the tipping. So as usual, I'm always winning the tipping. 8, 7, 5, and 6.
Where did Manny get that 7? Oh, geez,
he got the 7. He ended up getting 7. He ended up getting 7. So
he's cheating.
No. I picked up Hawthorn. Carlton let me down. I picked Geelong. Sydney let me down. I picked the Dogs.
I don't want to know. Shut up.
I picked
I
the
don't want to know.
Magpies. Adelaide.
We've got
Yes.
I don't want to know. Who cares, man? They're the scores, man. No one gives it. I'm telling you. Talk about ball. Man, your family must fall asleep every night when you talk. Like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, I put out the link out there, and we've already got a few people waiting. This is pretty exciting. The first person I'm going to get on is, I don't know who this bloke is. Let's get him on. We've got Anonymous. Anonymous. He's out there. Look at him. How are we, Anonymous? How's things?
Yeah, g'day, rivals. I don't want to reveal my identity. I'll just identify as Anonymous for tonight. But I wasn't going to come on tonight, but Manny's got steam coming out of my ears because he's attacked an innocent member of the Jumper Punch community, and I think he needs to pay for it.
Oh, yes, he did. He did attack one of our favourites.
Innocent member of the. Come on, Scotty. I expect better things from you, mate. Come on.
I don't know who Scotty is, but the reason why I'm anonymous is because you attack one of us, Manny. You attack us all.
100%.
I don't have an identity. I'm simply a lone member of the Jumper Punch community. Now, Manny, I was going to have one question for everyone, but I think I might have to put Manny in the furnace here.
No, yeah, go for it, mate. You go for it.
Before I get started, mate, you've been a co-host or co-panelist of this show for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
Can you have a bit of respect for your own audience and not whistle over the top of your co-panelists while they're trying to speak? Because it's fucking annoying. You can't hear what any cunt's saying.
I didn't whistle.
Roll back the tape. Roll back the tape.
You were whistling while I was talking.
See that?
Was I whistling?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty disgraceful.
Don't act dumb, Manny. Don't act dumb.
Pretty disgraceful.
You know what? I actually didn't realise. I apologise if I did. But if that's the best you guys have got, fair enough. I mean, your team is playing shit at the moment. So what are you grasping
Manny,
on?
For somebody of your maturity and elder statesman status, I would expect a bit more decorum.
Decorum. Oh, yeah.
He doesn't even know what decorum means.
By the way, Anonymous, those glasses look good on you.
Pardon?
Those glasses look pretty on you.
I've only donned these glasses to hide my identity.
I like it. If I was the Carlton, I'd hide as well.
Liam, now I'm going to fucking start on you too, so shut the fuck up. Mate, you're in the furnace now. You've named your back line. Name me your midfield. Name me Collingwood's midfield right now without looking at your phone.
You want me to name them?
No, we want this bloke to name it.
Because I heard you say Liam. So I'm just wondering.
Nope.
Liam's next.
Manny, stop fidgeting and answering the question.
Oh, wait, hang on. If everybody else can look at their paperwork,
look straight down the barrel and name me.
We don't look at our paperwork.
Midfield.
Look, we've got a super team, mate. We've got a super team. That's all I can tell you. Our team is looking absolutely amazing at the moment.
Oh, look at the politician, mate. And I've got Black and White United in the studio, and I can see him, right, and he's just slapping his head every time you talk.
Put him on.
We will bring him on.
I'm not done with you, Manny. I'm not done with you.
Oh, boy.
Can you name your forward line?
Forward line. Well, let's
Hey,
talk
eyes
about.
on me, Manny. Eyes on me. Eyes on me.
We can hear it.
What do you mean?
I
We had McStay. We had Tim Membray.
Hey, lift your eyes up, Manny. Lift your eyes up, Manny.
Bloke's been playing footy for 20 years, and it's pronounced Membry.
Well, at Collingwood, it's called Membray. Membray was
what is it? A Membray.
Insane in the membrane like you, Manny.
No, it's a kill that was Membray, which means memory is memory. But at Collingwood, it's Membray.
I didn't know it changed the name, right?
All right, how many goals did he kick on Saturday?
Again, Maynard.
Roll
2
back
goals
the tape.
in 1 minute.
Start in the frame.
How many goals did he kick, Manny? How many goals did he kick, Manny?
Who?
Membray.
Membrane. No brains. No brains.
I got two questions left for you, Manny. One, what was the weather like at the MCG on Saturday night?
Oh, the weather was great.
And where were you, Manny?
The weather was absolutely great. I mean, it was good football conditions. The ball wasn't slippery. It was absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Do you have any comments on the turf at the MCG? Because there's been many comments about it during the week.
Look, I haven't heard any comments.
Wait! Everyone, watch! He's going to deflect. Go, Manny, go.
If your
how
team's
did the
well,
turf look to you in the flesh?
Yeah.
Actually, it looked okay.
Were you there, Manny? Okay. Were you there?
No.
Why are you saying it looked okay?
Because I had family that was there, and they told me that.
Did they pass it on? Did they?
They told me that there was. They told me it was great atmosphere. The conditions were great. So, I mean, Scotty, obviously your age indicates that you've never seen an AFL game.
I don't know who Scotty is. Stop calling me that name. I'm anonymous. I don't have an identity.
All right, we'll call you Mr.
anyone.
We'll call you Mr. Freckles. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Freckles. You've obviously not grown up in an era where there was hard-fought games with mud this deep. And correct me if I'm wrong there, Marco, where that was the real stuff, the real tough football, not nowadays, lush, green. And if there's a little bit of rain, the ball is slippery. They can't do this, they can't do that.
All he asked you, Manny, was how the surface was. He didn't ask you anything
surface
else.
Was good.
Surface. On TV, it all looks good. Well, how we go? Anonymous, we got any more questions for the panelists?
I've got one more quick one for Manny. Is Nick Dacos a team player?
I think Nick Dacos has always been a team player. Always has been a team player. Always has been a team player. And you know what? He's a little superstar. He's a little superstar. He gets into position. He's amazing.
Ask Scott Pendlebury if Nick Dacos is a team player. Ask Bobby Hill if Nick Dacos is a team player. Ask Jeremy Howe if Nick Dacos is a team player. How many times in a game is Nick Dacos going to take the wheel and instantly get pinged, or under pressure turn over the ball instantly, or spend 3/4 of the last quarter purely stat padding for his own personal gain at no contribution to the team?
I like that.
You'd love.
This is the future leader of your club, Manny, and he only looks out for the number 35.
You'd love to have him. You'd love to have him. See the difference between Collingwood and Carlton. We've got players, and we've got 6-7 players that really stand out. You guys have only got Crips. That's it.
Yeah.
Manny, can you answer the question, please?
You're a one-man show.
6-7 players. You can't even name 6-7 players in your team.
One-man show.
I've told you before. You keep saying that we would love him. I'll tell you right now, he's not the one I would take from your team. I'd rather take you because the shit you spin.
Yeah. Look,
All right.
It's you can say whatever you like, but you'd love to have him. You'd love to have him. He's an absolute superstar. Every time he gets the ball, there's something exciting's happening. I don't know. That's maybe because I'm biased. I don't know, but I think he's an absolute superstar.
Hey, they want to see you spag ball.
If it's a choice between Crip and Dacos, I'll take Crip every day.
Yeah,
100%.
Look, you can't take away the facts that Cripps is a superstar. You can't take that away. All right, that's simple.
There's his spag ball. No, he's dropped it. He's dropped it.
You can't take that away. You can't take that away.
From today.
Who is
still crying? Where have you seen me cry today? Be serious, bro. All right. Hey, Anonymous, I love your work. I want to see you back next week.
Cheers, fellas. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
See you later, Anonymous.
Nothing to worry about, Manny. Nothing to worry about, mate. I reckon Cripps is he's a one-man player as well, mate. Don't get me wrong. He wants to jump into the ruck. He wants to play ruck rover. He wants to play this. He wants to play that. He's an individual player as well, mate. All he worries about is himself. He goes into the ruck. You said it now. Game. How can you have a ruckman that's a genuine kind of midfielder?
Wait a sec. But before you keep talking,
too, Rocco. Good words.
Fucking hell, mate. When I say wait a sec, shut the fuck up.
Right? Well, I'm asking you a question.
Because what you do is when you shut the fuck up. When I talk to you, you shut up, right? Because do you think that Cripper was the one who went into the middle? You think that it was his decision?
Cripper loves to go into the ruck, mate. He loves to play every position, mate.
Oh, my God. Do you think it was his decision?
Yeah, I reckon it would have been, mate.
Shut up. Anyway,
he would have said to his coach, I'm going in the ruck.
Yeah, all right. Now you're trying to be funny. Here he is.
No, I'm not being funny, Rocco, mate. At the end of the day, why would you have a player and that player going into a ruck?
Come on, we've got a guess.
The last quarter.
Be quiet.
That's an individual player.
Yeah, good. How are you?
I want everything.
Good, mate.
3 votes.
Crips.
3 votes.
We got a bloody thing. Mate, you haven't even got a good player.
3 votes, Cripps.
You haven't even got you haven't even got one A grader in your side.
Zach Merritt.
Black and White United. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, boys. How are you?
Good, mate. What did you think? What do you think about the comments? What do you think about the game?
Let me just backtrack a little bit. I am going to go in and defend Manny regardless. Okay, if you want to start talking about the whole Dacos Cripps thing or whatever it is, that's fine. You can make your judgments on that. It's a bit hard to judge a player who's won 2 Brownlow medals at the last third of his career to a guy that's only playing in his 4th season. So you're sort of not comparing apples with apples there. But just going back to what Anonymous said about is Nick Dacos a team player? You're talking like 72% disposal efficiency. So and on top of that, you're talking that he had 34. It's not 34. He had I think it was something like close to 20 disposals going into the forward 50. So if he's doing that into the forward 50, he's obviously passing off to a teammate and stuff like that. So you can't be criticising him for not being a team player. He's also had 19 effective kicks around the ground and also going into forward 50. So there's a little bit there that you sort of got to think about in a whole pace, and that's just for one game. So we just back off the Nick Dacos side of things, because really any of you guys would see him in your colours, you'd probably be giving him a standing ovation while you're sitting down. So just calm down a little bit there. Okay?
So black and white. First of all,
sorry, black and white. Sorry, mate. I don't accept that, mate. Sorry, mate.
No, black and white.
You don't have to. That's fine. That's all good. I'm not
black and white. I absolutely agree that if anyone put on the Carlton jumper, I would sit there and applaud them. And you are a perfect example, because you're applauding Memory now, just quietly, and no one's ever applauded Memory in their whole life. Not even St Kilda play. St Kilda supporters used to applaud Memory. So you're right. If he jumped into our side, of course I would applaud him. But you're absolutely right, man. Like, it's hard to judge two players in different parts of their career.
Yeah, so if Dacos was to win 2 Brownlow medals throughout his career and then have a premiership and Cripps didn't, I think the argument's pretty much over. But just another point that I wanted to make as well was with Tim Membry, his season at St Kilda last year was actually pretty good. He kicked something like he was their leading goal kicker. He kicked 30-something goals for their side. So I just don't know why, and I'm not from an AFL fan point of view, not a Collingwood fan point of view, why wouldn't another team go for him? Someone like a Melbourne, for example, who's screaming for another forward. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that he's there because his kicking's been accurate. So, and we struggle in front of goals. So, like with our set shots. So for him to come in, kick 4 goals, 1, and kick the first 3 goals of the game after Port Adelaide scored the first, his first game for the Pies at the G, I think that's a pretty decent effort. Now, moving on to this game against Bulldogs, I want to ask you guys though, do you think it was the fact that Collingwood were just really good on the day, or was it more of, was it from a neutral fan point of view? So, Manny, you don't have to answer this one. Was it the fact that Port were just crap? Because everyone's talking to me about how bad they were coached, this, that. Maybe we were just really, really good on the day.
Yeah, I think
I think it's got a lot to do with Liam. It's going to have to do with Port, mate. The coach was laughing at the end of the game. He was laughing with the other coach at the end of the game. That's ridiculous. Going down by 90-something odd points, and you're sitting there talking and laughing with the opposition coach. So to me, I think Port are pretty much dropping their bag, and Collingwood got them at the right time. There was nothing. I mean, look, obviously Membry and all that kind of stuff, kicking 4 goals and my check. It's still not convincing to me, mate. It's not convincing. You'll come against other sides that have got decent backmen. They will control those players, mate. And you'll be going back saying, why do we recruit him? Why isn't my check, not being, delisted? Blah, blah, blah. So I hear you with that, but every single team goes through that at least once or twice a season. For example, Carlton last week were talking about finishing top 4, this, that. They play one crap game against Richmond, and even their own fans are turning on them all of a sudden. So every team has that time where you criticise a player, you have a little shit period. In our premiership year in 23, we had, the last, few games of the season, we lost to Carlton. We got slapped by Hawthorn, I think it was, where Nick Dacos hurt his knee, and then we ended up losing to Brisbane at Marvel at the same time. So I just think that I hear what you're saying, but everybody goes through that type of stuff. They do. But Collingwood have won a few flags. Carlton haven't. So that's a big discrepancy there, mate. Collingwood have at least won some flags. I've got nothing much to say about
what he's saying is, I know you keep going that. All I know what he's saying is that everyone's going to go up and down, and 1 week. I mean, that's what I said 2 weeks ago. You got absolutely pantsed by GWS. You come out and beat Port. I'll ask you a question before you talk, Liam. I'll ask Black and White a question. Can you really assess Collingwood on that performance? Like the week before, you got pumped. So we're going to have to see, a good period of 4 or 5 weeks before we get 100%. And there's two answers to that. There's not one definitive answer. There's two. It's a yes, you can, based on Port Adelaide's finishing in the last couple of years and where they aim to be. They were only 1 game away from a grand final last year, and the year before they finished pretty decent as well. So already that club is aiming to go close to the last day in September. Then there's the no answer. Then there's the no answer. There's the no answer because of what happened the first game. But, I mean, at the same time, it'll be exactly the same for you guys if you go out and beat Hawthorn. You can't judge Carlton, can you? And this is what I'm saying. It's going to take a few games, a lot more, 4 or 5 games before you know where each team's at. But, for example, Port, can you really judge? You say that they were 1 game away. They got smashed, and then they come out and beat, I think it was Hawthorn, and they pulled that out, and then they got smashed again. So their performance in finals isn't great. Their performance over in Melbourne is absolutely disgraceful, So That doesn't take away what you did to them. So to answer your question, you've got to take a bit of both. You played well, and you definitely stopped Port playing the game they wanted to play, right? And your defensive efforts were great, mate. That's what stopped Port. But you really can't take it on that one game. There's no chance.
All right. So then if we go out then and we smack the Dogs, not saying we will, I think we'll win probably by about 2 or 3 goals. But if we go out and we smack the Dogs by, I'm just going to say hypothetically, 10 goals, will your opinion change then after 2 performances in a row?
Of course it slowly changes, black and white. On a serious note, of course it slowly changes, because what happens then is you start to build like, this, how do you say, like a bag of wind, you know what I mean? And you're beating sides. Of course it's going to start to change. But if you beat the Dogs by 10 goals, of course you're going to have to start taking you guys seriously again. You know what I mean? Of course, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
I've got a question for Liam too, just with Richmond, because I'll be interested to know from a Richmond point of view. I know that you said that you're going with your head and that you're tipping Port. I'm tipping Richmond this week simply because I don't think that Port Adelaide, I think they were really bad and we were just really good on the day also. I don't think they showed any sort of consistent ball movement. Their ball handling was crap. I don't really think that they actually tried to, they threatened us whenever we were pulling away from them. It's not like they came back with a couple of goals here and there, whereas Richmond, they were down and out. Like, they will finish. Carlton had that game, like, won, right? But they kept on going. And I think they'll have the momentum riding off last week to beat Port Adelaide because they were that bad. What do you think? Like, honestly, do you think that you guys can beat them?
100%. As you've been saying, it's hard to go on such a small sample size. We've only played 1 game. Collingwood's played 2 games. It's very hard to see how we're going to do for the rest of the season. But I think coming into this round, and as I've said, if we can put up a performance like that regularly, we're going to be a good team. And again, if Port Adelaide are going to play how they did against you guys, there is every chance we can beat them. The big thing is that the media comes in for me. But back to your original point, did Port play bad or what Collingwood? I think Collingwood played really good. The narrative that the media has gone with is, Port are bad, Ken's not interested, they're just going to have a bad season, which I think is a bit stiff on you guys because you did play well. Yeah. But I feel like with that narrative, all week it's been about, Port need to respond, Port have been bad, Ken wants to leave, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like that's going to feed into them. They're going to be like, shit, like, is this really what we want people saying about our club? And I think that might spark their performance. For us, it's going to be riding on the high of last week. It's kind of like, hey, look, we've proved to everyone, no one believed in us, but we went out there, we got the win. We can do it again. Why can't we win again? We played a good game of football 1 week. Why can't we back it up this week?
Yeah, that's the attitude you got to have. Why can't we win?
Yeah. Mark, just with Essendon, their performance against Hawthorn, I didn't actually think was bad. I actually don't think you guys played that bad. Hawthorn were just better than you guys. I reckon if you guys come across teams like the Adelaide game on the weekend, I'm 50-50 on. I'll probably tip Adelaide based on their performance against St Kilda purely, right? But then, I don't know, do you think that you guys will make finals? Because I reckon that you probably just miss out, but I reckon you guys can scalp a big side this year.
Yeah, certainly. I reckon black and white. I reckon we just need to obviously get some players back into our lineup, and that's some of the key players that have been right, Langford, Ridley, and so forth. But to be honest with you, mate, we were really competitive for the 3 quarters. It was just the first quarter. Again, I was sitting there watching the game, and I cracked the shits, mate. The first game that you want to watch, the first time of the year, and you're seeing them, like, 1 goal we kicked to 6, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is this shit? Like, come on, we're better than this, mate. Like, we're playing at the MCG. And the last 3 quarters, we were very competitive. If anything, like I said, mate, we got close. There was a couple, again, umpiring decisions that pissed me off, right? The deliberate rush behind, holding the ball decisions that make a big difference in the game of football these days, especially the momentum of the game. You've got momentum, and the umpire just fucks it all up. And that shits me about football these days. There's too many umpires, too many interpretation rules from different individual umpires that's costing this game. And it's going to be a major issue towards the year. I'm telling you right now.
But don't you notice that, like, in the finals time, regardless of who's playing, they sort of tend to put the whistle away? And it's like, why are you putting the whistle away during the finals when the whole home and away season, you've given us this false sense of security about what's going on, right? And then in the finals, you throw away the whistle and you're letting play go on. And that's why the game's better and it's more contested and it's more harder during the finals. You know what I mean? Rocco, I've got one for you, Rocco, just quickly.
Before you say that, I'll answer that one there. Then you can definitely ask me a question. Yeah. But I think I don't even blame the umpires half the time. I believe it's the directive by the umpiring directors, whoever they are, because I think half the time they go in 1 week and they're told that, look, we're going to be and they've said it before. We're going to be looking for this, and we're going to be looking for that, So sometimes I don't even blame the umpires. It's what they're being told and trained to do, Like with that decision, but with Essendon, that wasn't deliberate. Let's be honest, man. The bloke's under pressure, you know what I mean? Let's be serious. If that happened to any of our sides, we'd be fuming over that, right?
Yeah.
But they've turned around and said,
19 points down.
Yeah. And then their excuse is, they've turned around, like he's gone one way, then the other, so he had time to get rid of it. But again, like what we were saying before, the game is on seconds. It's you got to make a decision in seconds, and they're saying, he had time to dispose and that. Like, come on, guys, man. So that's my point on that. But black and white, ask me. Go. Wait a sec. Wait. Go.
So I got one question for you. In Carlton's forward line, right?
Yeah.
You are screaming for a effective small forward. Now, you lost Always, which I think was a stupid decision. He was probably asking for too much, but he offered you good value. So you need to replace 30 goals this season minimum just to break even. Why not, if you're a Carlton supporter, and I don't know why I stew about it as a Collingwood supporter, but it's just blindingly obvious. Why wouldn't you, at the end of the season, get Harry Mackay and trade him off, put him on the trade table, send him to a club like Melbourne, who are desperate for another tall forward because they've only got Van Ruin, and get yourself someone like a Bailey Fritsch who would fucking thrive in a new environment or something like that. You guys need a small forward. What are your thoughts about that?
We need more than one small forward. We need a few because all good teams have got 2 or 3 small forwards. I mean, you guys have got you look at someone like Hawthorn, and you're right. We've been struggling with small forwards for a long time. And I think what they did with Owies, I kind of understand the Owies because he's not really that small forward. He's more of that medium leading forward. He still kicked his 30 goals. But I could see what they were trying to do. They're going to put all their cards in someone like Motlop and Durden. But to tell you the truth, I've said this. Motlop, the name Motlop stands in football legacy, the Motlop name. We have got the worst Motlop ever. The bloke does not chase. He can't kick goals out. I hope he turns it around, but I can't see it. Durden just has not come on. We're picking people like Frankie bloody Evans at his third club. He looks like he's lost in a maze. They're relying on people like Fantasia, who plays 1 out of every 5 good games. You're absolutely right. And this thing about Mackay, you know what? At the end of the year, if we don't make finals, a big name's got to be put out there. And is it Harry Mackay? Maybe. Is it Walsh? Maybe. I mean, I think
if you were to get rid of Mackay, I reckon you're pretty close on keeping TDK because the money will be freed up, and then he can go down into the forward line and he can rest up there and he can give Kerner a bit of a break.
TDK will go, man. I don't think he'll go. I can't say. I think that money St Kilda's offering is bullshit. I don't think the difference is going to be that much. I don't think he'll go. But your point about should we get... I love Mackay. He was weak over the weekend, but, man, he kicked nearly 50 goals last year again.
Yeah, and just think, though, he might have kicked 50 goals last year or whatever it is, but think about the sitters that he missed, right? He could win the Coleman almost every single year.
You want to know the truth, black and white?
He's paid millions of dollars to fucking just kick a ball from the goal square. You know what I mean?
Last year, in actual fact, his kicking was pretty good. It was the year before you're talking about. Last year, he turned it around, and it all started with that Brisbane. But about getting rid of a big name, you know what? You guys have done it over the years. You get rid of big names, and you.
We had to, though. We had to. We had no choice. We wouldn't have got rid of Grundy. We wouldn't have got rid of Grundy. We wouldn't have got rid of Treloar. We probably would have kept Stephen for another year. We ended up losing Artu Bosniavagi, who didn't really play many games, but then we also had to get rid of Tom Phillips as well, who I thought was a pretty decent all-rounder when he actually played. And we had to get rid of these guys for the salary cap side of things. In the long run, it worked. But I just don't think Carlton have what it takes with the current crop to win a flag if you don't get rid of a big name and get something.
You could be right. If we don't make finals, I tell you now, heads have to roll, and it could mean get rid of some big names. And you know what?
And do it before Tassie comes in too, because then you're going to have free agents that are going to be attractive.
100%.
You know?
We need small forwards. We got if you look at it, we got the worst small forwards out there. I admit it. I'm not denying that. What I saw, especially on the weekend, they don't run, they don't chase, they're missing goals. Motlop's trying to pick up the ball with his feet. You know what I mean? Like, we just haven't got it. We haven't got someone that goes in there and looks dangerous everything. Even, for example, I hate Essendon. They're a bunch of dogs, just like you blokes, right? But they picked up that – who's that kid? Who's that kid?
Kako.
Hey, he already looks like he's dangerous at the front, man, in his first game, you know. That's what you want, mate. And we cannot get it. Since we got rid of Eddie Betts, we cannot find a good small forward, man. And I wanted to get someone like Ginnivan a couple of years ago. Like I was kept saying, man, we need to get small forwards, mate. We need to get small forwards, mate. Put everything into getting a small forward. But anyway, hey, listen. You talk too much sense for a Collingwood supporter, and you're starting to piss me off.
And on top of that, I've got all my original teeth.
You have got original teeth?
Oh, every single one of them, mate. 30-year member too. So fucking.
The one person, you know what? I believe you are a 30-year member. I believe you go to all the games. I believe because the way you speak about it, unlike Manny, but the one person who's so thankful for you coming on is Manny every week because you kind of bring a bit of sense to the whole thing. But
I will defend him. I will defend him until the end of the day. And just so we all know, Collingwood's midfield on the weekend was Harry Perriman. It was Darcy Cameron. Bill Sidebottom was in there, and Nick Dacos was in there as well, just so we all know. And also, just to put it out there, you can find me on YouTube, Black and White United on YouTube. I'm almost at 700 followers, so subscribers, so jump on, and I'll talk all pie stuff there. So thanks for having me on again, boys.
Hey, listen,
I really appreciate it.
You're the best Collingwood content out there because there's another guy there. I don't rate his content, but I rate your content. So there you go, mate. So everyone jump on, even if you're not a Collingwood supporter, man, support him and jump on, just like we used to do for Tiger Den, man. Let's support the Black and White United podcast.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
See you, mate. All right, we've got another legend here. Look, he's got the Mars top on. Look at that, mate.
Fucking
How you going, Trevor?
I'm a fucking real supporter. Unlike Manny, I've been the game since I was fucking 3 years old. I show up every week.
I'd be embarrassed to wear that jumper, mate.
But Manny, it's not for you. You're not getting the teaser this week. It's Mark that's copying it. I got shots for Mark.
I'd be embarrassed to be wearing that jumper.
And Liam, I apologise for being so ignorant last week. I apologise for being so ignorant last week. But Mark, how fucking dare you go and call Patrick Cripps selfish and all the words you use when the bloke literally bleeds Carlton and has been our only shining light for the past fucking 10 years, and he's won what? 5, 6 best and fairest, 2 Brownlow medals, and you're calling him the most selfish prick to ever come out of the AFL system, coached your side and made young kids take drugs. performance-enhancing drugs.
That's a big speculation there, Seba.
No, it's not speculation. It's not speculation. It's not speculation when it's well known and well documented. How fucking dare you call Patrick Cripps selfish?
He's selfish, mate. I'll tell you why.
What makes him selfish? Give me not you guys into the ruck because it's not his choice.
Listen, Seba. You boys had the ball in your forward line in the last 10 minutes of that game against Richmond, and Patrick Cripps is going up for the ruck, and you've got 2 ruckmen to go up and contest. He should have been ruck rovering, or that's my old philosophy.
Have you listened to Cripps? Have you listened to Michael Voss's press conferences?
As opposed to being a hero and saying, I'm going into, he would have told Voss, I'm going into the ruck. And what did they do?
Mark.
I'm going to step in. And I've got another shot.
That's why.
Let other people talk. I'm just going to step in here.
I did make him talk, mate. I'm talking.
Shut up. Shut up, because you're talking shit now, right?
Oh, right.
Cripps did not go into Voss. So you're trying to say Cripps ran up to the box and said, I'm going into the ruck. Are you mentally, something is wrong with you?
No.
When he jumped into the ruck, it means that TDK isn't there. It means TDK isn't there. So what he's actually doing is unselfish, right? So don't come up with your rubbish, Mark, that he ran up to the box and told Michael Voss, I'm going to go into the ruck. Are you serious?
He made his own executive decision to do that. And
while TDK was standing there,
that's genuine shit.
You telling me that while TDK was standing next to him, he told TDK to step away. I want you right now to get the proof of where that happened.
That does happen a lot. With players,
tell me where it happened, where TDK was standing next to him.
Setting you up for the knockout.
Right?
Marco is setting you up for the knockout.
You know what? We can talk shit, right? But just don't make up stuff, Mark.
I'm not making up stuff, okay? You're not listening to me. Players in that caliber can make their own decisions.
You know what? I'm not listening. No. I'm not listening.
You get Dustin Martin. If he wants to go forward, he goes forward.
All you're doing now is you're making up rubbish.
But Mark,
you're making up rubbish.
But Mark, have you not listened to Michael Voss's press conference, which I can't fucking wait till I see the back of that prick, because he is a soulless and he's got no fucking balls. But have you not listened to his press conferences?
That's correct.
Well, we put him in the ruck with the key word we put him in the ruck, not Cripps put his hands up to go into the ruck.
Asked that question. He was asked that question. So stop talking your rubbish. How about instead of just coming on 5 minutes before the show,
Cripps loves to play in the ruck. He said that
what did he say?
Loves to play in the ruck.
He's not going to go and say to Michael Voss, who's his coach, he's not going to go and say to him, nah, fuck you, Vossy, I'm not going in the ruck. He's not going to say that. He's the leader. He's the leader of the team. He's the leader of the pack. That's like me going and saying that's like me going and chucking my kid in the woods and saying, nah, I'll leave you there. Obviously, you're going to put your fucking hand up. Which is why he's equal with John Nichols, the 5 best and fairest at the club.
Mark, one thing I won't let you do, right, is say something about Cripper, because that bloke had massive offers from West Coast and Fremantle. He chose to stay. He's put that team on his back. If there's one player who bleeds Carlton, it's not Cripper. That's one person I will not let you bag.
No,
I will not let you bag the bloke.
You're saying that Dacos is
you're calling him selfish. You're calling him arrogant.
No, you can't just say because Scotty or someone said he's a skull. Oh, I'm just going to add someone.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something here? That it's football is one of those things that if you have a superstar like Cripps, every time he does something good, right, it's an expectation, yeah? And then when he does something wrong, right? Because he's done a couple of things that have looked like, oh, you know what, he's done this and it's cost them a goal or whatever, but automatically they're going to attack him. It's like any player. You look at Nick Dacos. He's a young player, but he's a superstar.
But who's attacking?
But
who's
he's not.
attacking
But the
Cripps?
thing is, Manny. Dacos isn't the leader of the team yet. He's not.
No, and that's all good. But what I'm saying is that
I understand what you're saying.
it's
100%.
When you're going to get a player like Cripps, who
Of course, everything is put into the limelight more because he is your leader and he's your star player and he's a top 3 player in the league. And I don't care what anyone says.
But then again,
unlike Zach Merritt, who's their leader and's done fuck all for their club since he's been there.
Look, Seba, you're going to be one-eyed because that's the way it works. You're going to be one-eyed.
No, I'm not being one-eyed. I'm just saying.
Let me tell you a fun example. Right, last year, for the life of me, I wish I could remember the game where Carlton was getting done. I think it may have been the Dockers. It was an interstate game, right?
When we come back and won because of the umpires. Yeah, it was the Dockers.
Well, no, it was where Cribs in the last 10 minutes, it was like he raised himself to that.
He's done that for 10 years.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it was something that really, for me as a Collingwood supporter, it really stood out because I thought to myself, here's one player who has really, really lifted the whole team because you've got to remember something. You guys have been very, very average.
Yeah, but how is that him being selfish? This is what
it wasn't. No, not at all. Look, he's a player that you'd love to have.
Liam's got something to say.
Let me get in on this, all right? With the whole Cripps thing, just from watching just the game that we've just seen. I will say, Cripps tried his heart out the whole night for him. He was the only Carlton player that he worked
even Ollie Hollins.
As far as going into the ruck, if that's what he needs to do to help the guys, that's what he's going to do. Also, 100%. Part of that, from our perspective, McIntosh did put a bit of a tag on him, particularly in the second half, and maybe going in the ruck was a way to sort of break that tag because if he's going up in the ruck contest, he hasn't got a tagger coming off him. At the stoppage, he's just up against one-on-one in a ruck. So, I think some of this criticism against Cripps is a bit stiff because, if he's the problem at your team, no, I don't think so.
But this is the thing. This is what gets me, especially about opposition supporters, when they say, and this is the one player who I'll fight tooth and nail for. The rest of them, I couldn't give a fuck because the amount of times that he had, like Rocco said, he had the offers from West Coast, he had this, but he chose to stay here. He didn't have to stay at Carlton because we've been a rabble for 25 years, 28. We'll give him 28 years, 2 years after our last play. We've been a rabble, and he's doing exactly what Judd used to do. Right, boys, get on the back. Let's go. He's done that since he was handed the baton. Mm-hmm. So for anyone to say, "Oh yeah, he's selfish," or he's doing this, he's doing that, it's not being selfish. He's trying to put the back team on his back so they can go somewhere. I don't see that as being selfish.
And I agree. And to say, like, out of all players, like, I know that was just Mark's just trying to stir everything up, but to actually
which
say
that created a good discussion, but still
shows how uneducated you are. Because to say that, I don't think if you ask any person in the AFL, is Cripper selfish? No one would say yes. It's just a ridiculous statement, right? All right, it's just a ridiculous statement. It's just, oh my God, the worst statement to say that TDK standing next to him, right? So what he does is he stops the game. He runs upstairs and talks to the coach and says, you know what? I'm going to ruck and let TDK stand next to me. That's never happened. That's never happened, Mark. So don't make up stuff.
Yeah, but by the time the runner comes out and tells Cripps to go in a ruck, it's 10 minutes is gone. So he's making his own executive decision.
Keep on going with the same thing. He does not choose to ruck.
But you know what? To finish this argument off, the reality is, Cripps is a superstar.
Of course, mate. He'll be one of the great.
It's proven. It's proven.
Unfortunately, it's probably be one of the greats to ever win a premiership.
Well, maybe. But But the reality is that you need to have more than just a Crips.
100%.
Yeah? And that's where the problems, and I can see that's where the frustration is with Seba. So
also,
the frustration is that you can say that we didn't win. You can say whatever you want. You can't call our captain selfish. That's the last thing he is, and that's just you trying to stir things up and just showing how unknowledgeable you are of the game. Sorry to say, Mark.
Yeah, well, you hear him make his own executive decision.
I got one more thing.
He's not going to wait for a runner to come up to him and say, "Go to centre half back."
He doesn't make an executive decision to go in the ruck. Every time Cripper went in the ruck, TDK was off the ground.
Bro, his boat's cooked, bro.
Far out, mate. Are you serious, Mark?
You make it so easy, Mark. But anyway, let's get off the Crips thing because he's not selfish.
Let's get off. It's ridiculous.
But I've got one more thing to say, and I've seen it a lot in the media, and you boys mentioned it. And look, I'm not having a go at anyone, but can we stop with the comparisons of Lawler to Dustin Martin? Like, can we just stop? We're talking about a triple Norm Smith medalist and a triple premiership player, and he did a full clean sweep in 27. Like, can we stop? Like, let's be real here. Dusty's probably the greatest player of my generation I've watched. The bloke was a superstar. So I think, I think we need a calmer. I know it's probably now that he's fresh. It's like, but I think it needs to be. Let's put the handbrake on.
I think for me, part of it is just excitement to see a guy.
And I know that's what it is. But
that's more. It's kind of like, and to think of that potential, like, wow, could we have gotten?
I know. But I think even in the media, I think the handbrake needs to be pulled up. And we're talking about obviously a triple Norm Smith medalist, and
do you think, guys, and Seba too? But it's just natural. They do it every time. They bring in a player, young, and they always compare him to. I'll give you the worst one, right? Remember Bell for Carlton?
Nope.
You remember Bell?
Oh, Tom Bell.
Tom Bell. Remember Tom Bell? They used to compare him to Kuda when he first came in.
Tom fucking Bell, bro. He was a dead shit. He's fucking mowing lawns. He's mowing lawns in Moorabbin now.
Nah, they do it every single time, and I understand the Richmond supporters getting excited about it.
I do too.
I will say on that, living over here in Perth last year, Harley Reid, it was the same thing. He just had to go out there, and everyone went mental for him. I'll tell you what, I went to that game on Sunday. He was not good. If he's meant to be worth,
he was horrible.
He wasn't even worth $2 on the weekend. I was like,
he was fucking horrible.
I don't want people to build into Lawler's head and be like, "You're really great. You're Dusty 2.0. You're going to be
exactly." You don't want to put that sort of pressure on a kid. You don't want to put that on him because realistically, I'm going to take my Carlton hat off, and I know a lot of Carlton supporters wouldn't like saying it, but. Mate, arguably, he's the greatest player of the modern era. He's in the conversation. Dustin Martin.
Oh yeah, when you win 3 Norm Smiths and you do a clean sweep one year.
He probably should have won 2. One should have been Basher Hawley's, but
maybe Basher Hawley should have won it 1 year. But mate, when you do all that, and he was a big game player,
and he's the greatest Richmond player of all time. Let's be real here.
I think it's part of what we were with the Dacos argument before is that Cripps is proven, whereas Dacos is it's his 4th year, so he's still a bit to go. If 5 years on the track, Lawler's done some pretty special stuff, then we can maybe get to talking about that comparison.
Yeah. But no,
you're right. You can't compare. One's got 2 Brownlows, the other one's got a premiership. I mean, you can't compare them.
This guy, shut up.
You know.
He's just as smart.
That's all that matters, doesn't it, Manny?
I don't think that's a great comparison because you might have premierships. We've had we could name some of the worst players that have won premierships.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's a team thing, but individually, I mean, he's got a
Nathan Buckley was a superstar for Collingwood. He'll go down history as one that never won the premiership.
That's right. Does that take away how good he was?
No, not at all. Not at
Tony
all.
Lockett.
Not at all.
You like it? Bobby Skilton. I know probably Liam and they don't know who that is, but he won 3 Brownlow medals and only ever played 1 final.
Individual awards.
Individual honours. They'd all trade them for a premiership.
100%.
We all know this.
They've all said it. And that's right. And we talked about this last night, Seba, how we didn't like what Mackay said during the pre-season about.
But that's the thing, and that's where sorry to keep going, but this is the thing where I think the frustration is built up with Carlton supporters is that I'm sick of hearing this bullshit where I'm not in a rush. Fuck, I am in a rush. I want to see one because I'm sick of hearing people like Rocco or hearing my dad, oh, how good we were, yada, yada, yada back then. I'm fucking sick of hearing that.
Mommy, ask you, Seba, how old are you? How old are you, buddy?
They're about to turn 24 next week.
Oh, so he hasn't seen a premiership. I mean, fair enough.
Bro, I've seen a Wizard Cup.
No?
A Wizard Cup.
That's it.
That's all I've seen. And my two premierships have been, 3.
You know what?
Been Judd and Chris Brownlow.
You cherish that Wizard Cup. You cherish that Wizard Cup.
I was there. Yeah. I was there, front row with my dad and my brother, mate.
That's it.
Hey, listen, anyone else, jump on, mate. Like, I'm hearing all these smart asses in here and that. Come on.
Yeah, all you people, opposition supporters, whoever, chatting shit in the chat, jump on.
I've got the hat and everything, mate, and you are jumping on to give it to me. This is I'm here. It's your perfect opportunity.
You got the guy from the village people there, Rocco, when you put that on. What was it? The construction worker there. YMCA.
Anyway, guys, good chat. Hopefully Carlton gets up tomorrow, but I don't think that'll be the case. But
good luck tomorrow night, boys.
Good luck to Richmond. Good luck to Richmond, and I wish Vergonia on both of your teams.
I love it. Mate.
There, guys. Take care.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow night, man. Bye. All right, we have got someone else here. We got Peter V. Blue Bagger.
How's it going, mate? Pretty good, mate. Pretty good.
He's a big supporter of ours, mate. He's a good man, mate. So what do you reckon, mate? What have you got to say? Have you got anything to say to these guys, or you got something to say?
Well, I've just got a bit of a headache actually reading some Mark's bullshit about Cripps there, mate. All these peptides coming out of his ass, mate. Number one, Cripps could. He did 7% it, right? He could have left for West Coast free or whatever, right? He didn't. He stayed put. He didn't have to. But also, I was going to go into the on Essendon as well. Now you got a bit of a tough game coming up. What is it on Saturday afternoon? I assume it's the case on the MCG against the Crows.
Oh,
I'll tell you, mate. That
beats a Saturday afternoon at the MCG, mate. Oh,
all right, mate.
Boys.
All right, mate. No, I'm telling you. I'm just saying, that Adelaide Crows forline looks very elite, mate. Almost elite.
They actually look good on that.
They do. Even I'm running him in the top, probably just outside the 5, probably 5th, 6th. I'm thinking for you guys. You've got Langford out, so who do you think is going to come in? Like, are you going to rely on Caddy, Kako? Is Peter Wright still there? Was he still 1 meter out?
You've got a good point there, Peter. That's what I'm stressing out a little bit about this week. But there is a player, is a mature age player that we got through the SSP, which is Tom Edwards. The last few practice games, he's kicked actually 4 goals in a quarter, both games. So I think that might throw him in. I still don't feel confident about that because these players need a bit of time to work through. But I'm just expecting some of these young players like Jones, Harry Jones, Archie Perkins. We need Gresham. We need obviously Caddy and Coco to do something this week. So, but Adelaide have got a very dangerous forward line as well, especially that Rankin, that actually, kind of kicked that goal last year within a couple of seconds to go at the end of the game, and pretty much got rid of our finals. So we've just got to defend again and attack, and hopefully we can get the points over the line. Peter?
You know what?
Good question.
I watched Tom Edwards.
Enzo, get on, Enzo. I can see you in the chat, Enzo. Get on.
I kind of agree with Enzo on that. I might want to give you a Razio for a few weeks if you want, mate.
Well, mate, I'm happy to take. He shouldn't have gone. He should have left anyway. He shouldn't have gone to Carlton. I think it was a waste of time. But happy to get him back on board at the Essendon Football Club. Ratio Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Well, what more can I say, guys? Also ask. Yep.
No, go. Ask the question.
Go.
No, I was going to say, what did you think about the Carlton performance, mate?
We played like this, bro. Like a bunch of bobbleheads, mate. After quarter time.
I can see you you still went and purchased the bobbleheads, aren't you? You are a
nah. I probably will weigh up to round 13, right? And I bet it's going to be like Stephen Kernahan, right? And Patrick Gibbs double bobblehead. I reckon they'll do that.
Yeah, they'll do that. They'll bring out the bobbleheads again, mate. They'll bring out the bobbleheads. But what did you think, mate?
The question is between that and remember the Hawthorn game by 130 points and Real Madrid scored 4 goals at the MCG at the same time. That was almost as demoralising as that. And I've seen a lot of stinkers, mate, in the last 20 years. I'll tell you right now.
It was tough. It was a tough take to sit there and watch that second half. Yeah, it could be one of the worst losses I've seen, as I said, as far as
almost. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Let me ask you a question. Now, let's say that you guys. I reckon you guys are going to get slaughtered against Hawthorn, but let's say that after, say, round 5, 6, there's nothing that's showing any improvement in that Carlton Football Club, and all of a sudden, some kahunas and gets rid of Voss. Who would you bring in?
Well, at the moment, do you want me to answer that? I'd say personally, Voss is now on notice, absolutely 100%. And if I was Carlton, but the thing is, this is not just about Voss. This is happening for the last 25 years. This has gone from head rocks up to the top to, management like Brad Lloyd, who I think should have been sacked 3 years ago.
Yep. And
also those assistant coaches. Where did he start? But we all know that Carlton will always play that, what's that word again? The fullback guy. They will do it. But I'd probably go with like Carosella or Longmire is available. It's like dude, that's like Boss 2.0, bro.
Yeah.
Boss
I think it's a bit hard, like first of all, they'll bring in, I think it's Hansen who'll just be caretaker.
He'll go dog.
They'll do that as a caretaker coach, but at the end of the day, it's a bit early. But if you're looking at
it is.
If you look at around 6, 7, and we've won one game or something, I think it's going to be hard to keep in there. Who's going to be next? I don't know who's going to be next. All I want them to do, and I said this when it happened, just do the right process, mate.
Yeah.
Just get the right process and get the right. Don't get a name, because at the end of the day, it was Kingsley who was recommended to come. I've said this before. It was Kingsley, and they went against the recommendation, and they went with Voss because they needed a name. And I blame Luke Sayers. I've said it over and over again, mate. Luke Sayers did things for himself and not the club, And now, everyone's come to roost now, So to me, let's play it out first. But it's hard to say who you're going to get. You just don't know who's going to be available. And look, some of the best coaches have come in and they've never coached. Like Kingsley's looking good now. You know what I mean? You just got to see who's out there and what they bring. And that's it.
No worries, mate. Like I said, I'll wait till near the year, mate. I'll leave you guys to it. Cheers.
Thanks, brother.
Nice one.
All right, we've got someone else here, man. And look at this, mate. We have got the Magpie people, the ultimate greatness. How are you,
hey,
brother?
guys.
Oh, boy.
How's things?
Just thought I'd tune in and just see how everyone was doing. I've actually been liking these setups with like a whole bunch of different teams, whole bunch of different flavors and stuff. And I've been seeing it a lot the last couple of years. So yeah, it's been good.
No, at the end of the day, man, I mean, we all hate each other as far as when we get to the ground and that. But, man, we are rivals, man, and it's about time we get out there and let's. What do you think about it? Or have you got any questions? What are you thinking, mate?
Oh, I've literally got nothing in my head at the moment. Just so happy over Saturday night. So, I mean, it's kind of a funny one because, like, obviously we smashed Port, best feeling in the world, one of the best games I've been to. Because the last game I actually went to was the Sydney game in round 2. So I was sort of a bit like that kind of. I don't know what the right word is, but it did kind of like hurt me a bit, like going because it was like the unfurling of the flag. Our defense was just completely shot, and it was just you sort of walked away as a fan. Season was done, and like. Even though it was obviously like so early, but I don't know what it was, but it was just such a. I think as well too because I got myself up for the game as well and things like that, and I focused a lot through the preseason and like, damn, we're actually looking good for back to back. I think there was just so much like hype that I gave myself going into the year, and then I think we went to the Sydney game and I went to the Sydney game and it was just so clear that like our midfield was too slow. There was all these like issues happening. So the fact that this was the first game this year in Melbourne, obviously I had to go. I nearly backed out actually.
Why?
It's just. I mean, for someone like myself, I deal with a lot of things like with like anxiety and stuff, and just like. I mean, I doubt myself a lot, but then I was thinking, we always seem to have a good a great track record with Port. I don't know what it is, but the last couple of years, every time we play them at the MCG, we've always smashed them. So, and then because I went with a mate as well too, I was driving him to the game. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to dog my mate that, because he wanted to go badly. So I got to give him the majority of the credit for me going because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have gone and I wouldn't have been too happy about it.
Ultimate greatness, mate. I love your backdrop there, mate. So Manny, get some tips on that backdrop, mate. What's going on? Yeah, that's a fantastic.
I've got a question for Ultimate here.
I've got a backdrop.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
The backdrop, man. Look at everyone else, man. You and Liam are pretty much. You better up it. But I've got a question for Ultimate.
Yeah.
What do you think about Manny representing your club? Do you think it's a good fit, or is he actually embarrassing, or does he fit your cheer squad? What are we doing here?
He seems fine to me. Like at the end of the day, I don't know Manny too well, so like, if he's a Collingwood squad, he can't be that bad.
That's right. Ultimate greatness. Let me ask you a question because it's a question that's been thrown at me by a number of the Carlton supporters, and one in particular by the name of Scotty Tompkins, aka Mr. Freckles. Do you think that at the moment our team, the fact that we've got so many older players, geriatrics, 30 plus players, we've got about 6 of them in there, 7 of them. Do you think
it's
that
9 actually?
How many is it?
I think it's 9. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that those because we've got a few of them that are injured at the moment, but do you think that because the season becomes a long season, do you think that may actually cost us? Because at the moment we're playing great football, but that's only one game.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have balance, right? You don't want to go too young because then you'll be like, like Gold Coast and Giants in their first years. But then you don't want to go too old because then you'll, have the year that we had last year. At the end of the day, it's a balance. And I mean, one of the things I said last year, and it turned out to be right, but in the worst way possible. The one thing I wanted last year was selection integrity, and I just felt like we just didn't have that last year. Where I think like obviously this year like there's been a few question marks. Like I mean, I think with Ed Allen, like he just seems so close yet so far. I mean, I've been a massive fan of him since his draft year. I know during his draft he only played like a handful of games and stuff because he had a back injury and stuff like that. But you could definitely see he was just one of those types that like kind of he had the mentality similar to Dacos in the sense of I don't know what the saying is called or whatever, but like if sometimes you just have to throw a kid in the deep end of a pool to know that they are that Olympic swimmer. And I feel like Ed Allen's one of those.
You've got to throw him in the deep end sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like Ed Allen is one of those types, but we just haven't done that. Like he's last week against the Giants, that was his third game, and I can't remember his stats off the top of my head, but I believe he got like 20 disposals. Looked pretty comfortable, but every time he's played, he's only played the one game, and then he didn't play the next week. Outside of probably the Melbourne game, given it was the last game of the year, but he hasn't had 2 games in a row, and I get he's like young, but also at the same time, it's like, you know, if he turns around and goes, well, I want opportunity, so then I want out. Like you just got to look at it and go, well, dude, like it's like, yeah, like how can you say anything against it? Because it's like you're good enough, or you're like you have the ability to be in their best 23. But sorry to make this an Allen chat because like I'm a big Allen.
No, that's
fan,
all right, mate. Nah, you're spot on, buddy.
But like and especially as well too. Like again, we had no speed in our midfield, and Allen literally just he's got speed like every day of the week, twice on Sundays, like because a lot of people will see like the midfielders and they'll get the numbers, and Side will get his 20 disposals, Pendlebury will get his 20 disposals, but they don't see like the opposition midfielders getting 35 each, and it's like, well, someone's got to tag them, or someone's got to be on them. I know Side did a couple tagging jobs this year, but that was probably one of the things that even for Port, like I think Port had 2 guys that had 35 disposals as well. So it's like, obviously we won by 91 points, so it doesn't matter. But at the same time, you do sort of look at that as a fan and go, God, I hope that's not, if that's something that is exposed, and because Pendlebury was a subs, that's one less player that's out there starting that's your quote unquote slow player sort of thing. Not that he's slow. But
well,
it's just some food for thought.
He's a 37-year-old.
You've got some good look with the team. It's hard to know. As I said, you play 2 games. These older players, what are they going to do? I mean, last year some of the older players like started to slow down. Pendlebury, you know what I mean, and also Saigon. He finished okay, but you just got to see, mate. And with old players, the problem is you might say like, oh yeah, you know, and it's good, and Geelong did it, and Carlton did it in '95. That old team. I'm telling you, old players, what happens is they fall over the cliff real quick. You know what I mean? It could happen within weeks.
Yeah.
It might not. I don't know if it does or it doesn't, but that's what you got to do. If they can hold up, you can't beat experience. Let's be serious, you know. But
and you've also got players like Sidebottom too, where his game is purely, you know, like endurance based. Like even if you look at Pendlebury's skill base isn't based on explosive speed. It's efficiency and smarts and football IQ. So those are things, especially when it's like your football brain in a sense. I'm sure it does maybe slow down to a certain point. Like it probably has to, because when you get older, you're not at your peak anymore. But like compared to, you know, if you lose the speed in your legs, that's a lot quicker, or that's a lot more. Trying to think of the word, like prone to happen rather than like you getting, I don't know, in a sense, like dumber on a footy field.
And sometimes, you know, like people talk about speed, but there's speed by legs and there's speed by ball movement. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's not necessarily leg speed. Like just remember, the footy moves quicker in the air than you do bringing it, you know, running it down the ground. You know what I mean? So it's about speed with the ball. You know what I mean? So when people go, oh, there's a lot of speed, I think what you're seeing, like when a team gets beaten badly, go, oh, they had no pace, you know. But you get a team like Richmond look quick on the weekend, but they were moving the ball real quick, you know what I mean? So anyway, hey, Ultimate, it's great that you came on, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. It's great. It's good to see some Collingwood. I want to see some Essendon and Richmond people come on, but great you come on. Make sure you catch up and come back next week. But I hope you get pumped this week. And thanks very much.
Yeah, no, good. Happy to join in and stuff. And yeah, as I said, glad that you guys are doing covering like all the teams and stuff, because I feel like that's the new model to be showcasing, because it's also great because I mean, as clubs and stuff, as supporters, we always look at our club as a puzzle piece, and it's like, what pieces of the jigsaw puzzle do we need to do to win that next flag or to get over that next like hurdle? And I feel like every club's different, and each club's a puzzle piece at the end of the day. So I don't know. Once I found that out a couple of years ago, it sort of it only made my love for footy grow even more. So
100%. That's good, man. Like as I said, I hate your club, but I love your passion.
Yeah, keep watching, buddy. Keep watching.
Thanks, mate. We'll catch up next week.
Yeah, all good.
See you, mate.
Yeah.
See ya, Ultimate. All right, that was good, guys. We had a couple of Pie supporters, mate. At least the Pie supporters are jumping on, mate. We need to get some more.
Listen, we're not afraid. We're not afraid to come on board. I actually thought there would have been a few Richmond supporters that may have come on because of the fact that they did such a well.
There was a couple in the chat.
Yeah,
there was a couple. Hey, you know this icebreaker. Do you know who that is?
Hey?
Icebreaker.
I know who that is.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
All right, good. Because it looks a lot like you there. Hey?
Hey?
There. Icebreaker.
He's a handsome fella.
He's a handsome fella. I love it. I'm just saying, it's good that you know who he is. He keeps popping up. We've got some good questions there, let's see. Get your mate in. Yeah, Seba, get your mate in. Where is it? Get your mate. Oh, fucking hell.
I was trying to get him to come back on. I was chatting with him in the week saying, like, come back on. He said on stage, though, so.
Hey,
there we go. We got Hawker. Why didn't you come on? It would have been good to preview the game, mate. Use it up and about, the Hawkers, mate. The Hawkers are up and about.
So, Charlie Curnow, debut.
Well,
what's your opinion?
It's not a debut. He's back this week.
For 2025.
Debut means your first game.
Yeah, I know what it means. So tell me, his debut for 2025. The coach reckons he's looking good. Everyone reckons he's ready to rock and roll. What do you reckon? 4 or 5 goals at least?
Oh, you just don't know, mate. You just don't know, man. Like you just don't know. As I said, man, you put someone of Charlie Curnow's quality into your side, it's going to make your side better. Full stop, man. Like you put any quality player in your side, he's going to be. He's definitely like You'd probably even say if Curnow was there against Richmond when we were bringing in the ball 20-something times in that last quarter, would he have made a difference? Maybe, like he's a quality player, man. He's a 2-time Coleman medalist, man. You can't deny he's not going to make our team better. But in saying that, we've got to improve around the ground. That wasn't the problem, like the goal kicking, cost us at the end, but got to fix it. But it's definitely going to make us a better side. And we've also, who else? I think it's just him. Yeah, just him coming in. So,
yeah. We'll see. I think your back line was the problem more than your forward line. Like how Nick Haynes has held his spot.
Oh, well, I was a bit surprised there. But the problem is, man, when you do selection, right, it's easy to say, oh, we'll get rid of him. But then who do you bring in? See, that's the problem. Like, if you've got no one else to bring in.
Oh, boy.
You know, and then so the only thing I would have brought in like Boyd, but Boyd, they say, you know, he didn't have a good game in the reserves. He's still not ready to come in because I think we need a bit of a smaller back line coming up against Hawthorn, you know. But yeah, he had a terrible game. He was putrid. He was putrid back there, mate. You know that. You know the one where he missed the mark and then you kicked that goal.
Yeah, when he's trying to outmark McGovern, his own player.
And then he got pushed over. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, you know, at the end, I started laughing. That and then the somersault, I laughed. I couldn't see it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Yeah, come on, everyone. Hit the likes for sure. It's been a good show. The boys come on every week, man, and they put in a big effort, except for Manny. He does nothing. But the rest of them always put in a big effort. So, yeah, push the likes, share, do all that, man. It's been a good show. I don't think it was as brutal as I thought it was going to be. You're pretty weak. I mean, even all the people in the comments, pretty weak, man. Like, no one came on to give it to me. Like, really? I mean,
I think what makes a difference, Rocco, I think what makes a difference is that we can see the frustration and the anger that your supporters are carrying at the moment. Now, if you guys were being really arrogant and saying, oh, yes, we think ourselves, you know, but because we could see deep down that you guys are really, really upset.
I think that's what's that got to do with the other supporters coming in? But before you keep on going, because you might start talking for about another 5 minutes and we not know, guess what? He's come on. The Hawker. Check him out. He's always, how are you, Hawker?
We love it, mate. Really cool.
Wait, we can't hear you, mate. We can't hear you. Put your mic on. All right, go.
Oh, boy, that's a rookie.
See what he can do.
You got 20 seconds, mate.
Yeah, while he's doing that.
Hang on. Give him a chance. Right. Come on. Give him a chance.
Rocco, Mr. Rocco, I'll be quite honest with you, mate. Us boys have been pretty soft with you tonight. Honestly, mate. We should have gone out.
Mate. Come on, Hawker. Get off and fix up your sound.
Yeah. So to be quite honest with you, Rocco, you're very lucky, mate. You're very lucky that us boys have not gone hammer and tong. So you are a bunch of fucking spuds. The Carlton Football Club was smashed by the Richmond Football Club that was bottom of the ladder. I'm going to go out tonight and say, Carlton, you're a bunch of spuds. This is forever rivals. It's all about banter.
Yeah, I know, but this is the whole thing. You're right, and it is about banter. But what happens is, right, you come with nothing, Mark. I mean, your best comment. No, you come up with nothing.
I haven't come with a lot more, mate.
No, listen, Mark, you came with nothing. What you did was you came with a potato. That was your whole preparation for today.
Right.
At least I made a cake for your 7,500 days of absolute failure, right?
I was ready to go, mate, with a massive.
This is what Essendon do on every single final.
Rocco, you're lucky we've gone light with you tonight, what mate. You're lucky we have gone light, mate. Your best thing tonight was you brought a potato. You came with no a simple spud like the Carlton Football Club.
And it really didn't hit. It's the same thing for like 3 years. You can't even come up with a good one. And then you came up with the worst comment of calling Cripps selfish. I'm telling you have been your performance. I'm going to rate everyone's performance tonight.
Like I was saying, Rocco, you're very lucky us boys haven't given it to you. You're very lucky, mate. You're lucky Liam is a nice bloke.
Mark, you make me laugh. You give me nothing, mate. And I'm going to rate everyone's performance tonight, right? Liam, I'm going to give you a good solid 6.5, man. Manny, I'm going to give you a 6 also. I thought you were a bit down, but you kind of lift. Mark, 0. That's what you get. You get a 0 for tonight's performance. All right. Hey, listen. I'll wait until he's back.
The slugs.
Are you on?
Is it working? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Jesus Christ,
We're here.
Hawker.
I want to hear from Hawker.
I recommend genuinely premiership favourites. I'm putting bias aside here.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Come on.
Two biggest wins of the season, and premiership favourites here.
Hey, listen, you're not far off it, man. It's a long season, but the way you finished off last year and the way you have started this year, and to tell you the truth, like I hate all the other teams, but I actually enjoy the way you play your game, man. Like it's a fast brand, and your skills are fucking number one, mate. What happened? You know, like last year, Hawker, you were 1-7, 1-6, whatever you were, and since that point, you have turned it around.
Oh, I think it's pretty much up to list management. I think just some of the list management we've done, a lot of it's been luck. Like you don't pick Mitchell Lewis, like pick 70 and something, or Dylan Moore. We actually delisted Dylan Moore, put him back on the rookie list a couple of years ago. Now he's probably one of the best small forwards in the league. And then also a lot of our drafting's been really great. So Josh Weddle, who's pretty bloody good halfback. Not many teams were looking at him, and through that whole year we followed him and made sure we picked him. I think, it's a lot of it is up to Sam Mitchell. I think he's just such a great leader, knows who to pick the team, and it's been pretty good.
I like him. Seb was asking, how old are you, mate? Like, we want to know.
Jeez, I'm 16, so
16, mate.
Does Sam Mitchell carry some form of aura? Do you think against the playing group?
It's just, I think it's more just that everyone loves him. Like to have a player that's been adored for his whole career. He's been there from the start to when we were at this stage, pretty much around 2019 or 2020 when we were really not great. Sam Mitchell sort of started his career at that point and went all the way through, won 4 premierships. So to see him start at the beginning again, it's pretty cool and to get pretty good.
Yeah. Spot on. Good on
that. And man, you got some players there, man. How exciting is something like this? Isn't going to be the Hawker show, you know, but since you've come on and you've got the balls to come on, mate, some of your players, man, they're just like you know, players like Ginneman come into the side, the blokes like just full on excitement, you know, and they might not be there for the whole game, but they'll come up for like 10 or 15 minutes and they'll just destroy teams, mate. Like you actually, Hawks make me sick, right? Because you go through a dynasty and then you rebuild and and then you got Mitchell saying they're building the next dynasty. They're not saying they want the next premiership. They're saying they want the next dynasty. You're 16. You've seen more flags than what Seba had, and he's 26 years old, mate.
I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. And to building that dynasty, I think Hawthorn, just throughout the whole of Hawthorn being a club, have always just wanted more and more. So, look, we've won a premiership every decade since the 1960s, and we can't let that go. So, winning on the 2020s will be very special.
That is true, man. That is true. And what do you reckon about this weekend, man? On the serious day, Carlton are going to come out firing. They're going to come out, mate. I'm telling you now.
I know.
Because they have to respond. If they don't respond, like we got some serious problems. So they're going to have to respond, right? But what do you think's going to happen? I want you sound like you know the game. I want to hear what you think's going to happen this week.
Carlton always seem to respond when something bad happens to find a way. And I am worried because look, teams like that, they don't let that slip, losing to Richmond. And Hawthorn, I'm kind of worried. Like, we've just been going good for so long. Like, something, you can't go that good for that long. And I don't know. There's a lot of probably big egos in the club at Hawthorn right now, too, is what we have to worry about. Like, just getting a walk in the park. I think everyone knows it's going to be a tough game for us, and especially because of that loss, it just adds as soon as Carlton lost that, I was like, oh, God. Oh.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to see, like, teams get punished the week before. Like, you're kind of, like, worried that they'll come back.
Well, I was stressed out about the Sydney game because I was like, oh, we are getting belted. There's no way we're losing. We're winning Sydney.
Well, to tell you the truth, but you still came through and win, and that's what's impressive about your side. But you've got a good system. I think if you if you guys just stick to your system, you'll be okay. Have you got any questions for Hawker, guys?
Oh, I don't want to take over the show. I don't want to take over.
Hawker,
No,
quickly. I've got a quick one for you, mate. I've got a quick one for you. What made you decide to go for the Hawthorn Football Club? I know you're young, right? What was it? Family, friends,
it was definitely family.
Yeah.
So my dad went for Hawthorn he was up until 8 years old. He was actually a Collingwood supporter.
Wow.
But then his favourite player was Peter Knights. So changed teams.
Peter Knights, Paul Vanderhaar, mate. Peter Knights and Paul Vanderhaar. Dad would know him quite clearly. So when you see your dad say, Mark from the River Rival said, how's Paul Vanderhaar going?
I'll let him know.
Your whole family Hawthorn?
No, it's a half Collingwood, half Hawthorn. So it's a pretty divided household, especially with the Ginnivan trade. That was wasn't a great bit, but that's all right. He's done pretty well for Hawthorn. But yeah, thanks for getting me on.
Do you go to all the games, man?
Yeah, I tried it. All the games in Melbourne. I was lucky enough to fly up to Sydney, so that was a pretty awesome experience. First time at the SCG, and it's not the same as the MCG, is it? Just not the same. It's a lot less louder at the SCG, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. But I like the SCG. It reminds me of our old Princess Park. I love the old ground, the SCG. But
how good is Princess Park? It's so good.
The old days, man, that was the best. But let's be serious. There's going to be 80,000 people this week. It's a Carlton home game, man. As I said, I reckon there's going to be a bit of fire. I'm picking Carlton, but to me, if we beat Hawthorn, it'll almost be as good as Richmond beating us last week. I'm telling you.
So I wouldn't say that. I just wouldn't say that. I don't know. I'm a bit worried still because last year we just started awfully. At the start of last year, I was generally thinking, "Oh, geez, we're finishing last this year. This is going to be awful." And it was just such a nice thing to make finals. I really don't know. I feel like you don't want to peak too soon. And I don't know if we're at the stage as a club to go through the whole season. It'll generally be a surprise to me if we go through the whole season just keeping this form. It's something to worry because there's a lot of things to stress about. But
that's being realistic, man. That's a good one. Hey, mate. People are loving you, mate. Hawker, if you had to give away one of your best players to Carlton, who would it be?
Oh, can I just say no? Is that an answer? Is that an answer? I don't know. All
right, I'll give you the other way. If you could pick one player this week from Carlton to come into your side, who would it be?
Charlie Curnow.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the one thing we're not as good. I feel like our backline, our midfield is just incredible, but our forward line.
How good's bloody Sicily been? Like, he's starting to piss me off, that bloke, right?
He's the best player. This is a bit controversial. I've been getting hate for this from all my mates, right? Sicily is the best contested mark in the league. If I had to pick one person to contested mark to save my life, it'd be him. By far.
Who's going to play on Charlie? Will it be Sicily?
No, it'll be Barras. Sicily's so versatile. He's the best utility the game's ever seen. So
in the last, he won you the game against Sydney.
He wins us every game. It's the one game that he didn't win us was the Port Adelaide game, and that was a bit heartbreaking. But he got this close. We
got Lana. Lana's one of our favourite counts. Can we have
the Wizard's staying. Sign him for a 13-year deal. He's staying. The Ginnivan Wizard duo is one of the greatest you'll see in football.
What were you saying, Liam?
I said he's a little twat. He gives me the shits, the Wizard. Don't like.
Oh, he's a lot better than Kiko, that's for sure.
You only hate good players. Remember that. You only hate good players, and that's the thing, mate. And no, you do them well, man. You do it. It's going to be. Look, as always, I'm pumped. I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to look forward to it, man. If I see you there, I'm going to give you a high five, man. Hawker, you're a star. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks for supporting us.
Thanks for getting me on.
Hey, win or lose, make sure you come back on next week.
Oh, yeah. Back on next week.
Hawker. Should I trade Lupe out of my fantasy team, or should I keep him in?
No, I'm telling you right now. Fantasy or Supercoach. Is this like what's the thing is the fantasy this video like Supercoach? Like what's the main thing?
I don't know if any of these guys play, but I play fantasy.
Nah, I don't do it because I tell you the truth, fantasy and super coach, it takes me away from watching the game. Like, I'm so worried about other players performing, even when they're playing against Carlton, that I can't do it. So I don't do fantasy anymore.
But yeah, I definitely would not trade Will Day out. He's gonna have 140 this week, I reckon. 140 super coach points, 40 touches, 2 goals.
If he comes back and plays hard, I'm having a whinge at you though.
Yeah, that's fair. No, we might though.
Who do you guys make your captain this week?
One more coming up.
Yeah, who did you make for this week? Who did you make your captain for this coming week on your fantasy?
I've gone Jerry. It was my captain was DeConing last week. That makes a big body, so he won't be scoring as many points.
I might stick with me mate Jordan Dawson. He's a gun.
Yeah, good call.
That's a good call. All right. What do you use? No, he's a role part. You know nothing about fantasy football.
No, that's right.
I've got other fantasies, mate.
Hey, well done, Hawker, man. And seriously, I hope you get beaten this week. But I love your work. As I said, I hate your team, but I love your passion, mate.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me on. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Hawker.
See you,
Hawker. Thank you.
Take it easy.
How good's that kid, mate?
No, he's confident. He's confident.
Come on, man.
He's cocky. He's confident. You like that?
Well, the thing is, he's confident, but come on, man. That takes balls with
ugly blokes. Good on him. Good on him. You know what?
You know what? Sometimes, with like you can joke about my team and we joke about all our teams and that, but at the end of the day, like to see that in a young kid, see how excited he is. You know what I mean? And I always say, I've seen premierships. I know they were a long time ago. I want my son to see one. You know what I mean? And you'll be the same, Mark. You know what I mean? Like, and you be your son saw one. But when you see like young kids excited like that, like he's actually made my night. That kid, he's made my night.
Great kid. Hopefully he comes on again, mate. Hopefully he comes on again.
Yeah, I think he will. And as I said, that kid's just made my night. He'll bring a few viewers on too. He'll bring that's right. He is. He's going to be the Hawk is going to be the. And if anyone knows fan cams, there's a Zach on the Carlton fan cams always comes on. And as I said, these young kids make your night, man. And
you know what? We may possibly be the stepping stone for a lot of these young boys.
Yeah, I could see Hawker one day doing fucking some sort of show and that.
It all started with three ugly blokes and one good-looking bloke. And
the bloke? Get the banter, get the Fourever rivals, keep the name, keep it going. We'll be right.
Footy wins this
I was talking about you, Liam. You've been a good-looking boy because the other three. Look at us. We look like.
We'll warm up, Liam, mate.
We're weathered souls, mate. We're weathered souls. No, it's been good, fellas, man. It's been a long show, man. It's 2.5 hours, mate. You've been actually like I really do give your performances maybe a 7 or 8. I still give Mark a 0 because they've won no finals in 20 years. No, we love you guys. As I said, I love the audience for jumping on, mate. What's he writing? I don't know what he's writing. Everyone's loving Hawker, man. He's getting the love everywhere, man. It's good. It's good. Hey, this week it's good. We got some new people. I think it's going to be a slow build. People are starting to get a bit more comfortable coming on. You know what I mean? And when they come on, they actually see we're not that bad. You know what I mean? No. We're not as scary as people think we are. You know.
That's right.
So it's been good. We're gonna go. Before we go, man. Sporting Globe, make sure, mate, they're a great sponsor. Get down there. We're giving away vouchers every week, and they're great. We got to all the people, all the Carlton people in the audience, round 5, we have got the JP catch-ups at the Sporting Globe. We've got our own private room to watch the Carlton interstate game, so that's going to be a big thing. Also, new sponsor this week is Northside Transfers, man. Big Snapper was on last night. Everyone loves Snapper. he was a gun, mate. So Snapper's Northside transfer. So if anyone needs transfers, he does a private limo service. So anyone needs any sort of thing. And to all the people in the audience, leave a comment for Snapper either in the JP comments underneath or here, because what he'll do is he's going to respond to one of the best comments for the week, and the winner will get a $50 voucher to Northside transfers, man. So everyone in there, Mick Marcucci, Tracy Reed, all of you, get on there and ask Snapper a question. And what he's going to do, he's going to put it on video and he's going to answer the question, man. So Snapper's a great man. Everyone knows Snapper from Free AW. Do you know who Snapper is? Do you know who Snapper is? Snapper is, he went on Free AW 2 years ago and had an absolute rant on Free AW about Carlton. That was that bad that Carlton wanted to take away his membership. That's how bad it was. But he was only being honest, man. So Snapper is a great man, and he was great last night. Snapper was awesome. He was awesome last night. So everyone get on to Northside transfers, and also ask a question in the comments, because we're going to pick a question over the weekend, right? Is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
Jordan DeGoey, he's back. He's playing this week. So welcome back welcome to AFL 2025, Mr. DeGoey.
Come on, let's lock it on the 10, boys. Come on. Let's go.
Said you could change his show to Fab 5 Rivals. Maybe we can get fucking Hawker on a permanent basis.
No, he's too young. I mean, we become very aggressive and abusive at times. This is only early days. Come around 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
It's for your ears mainly.
That bloke had you like he said made more sense in 5 minutes than you've made in 2 years, mate. Seriously. All right. Now, listen, it's been good. Thanks to everyone joining in, mate. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Liam, you've got a bit of a. Do you do your little bit of a review previews? Yeah.
I've been doing tipping. I've been doing my tips. I had to put something out after that performance because I was buzzing.
Yeah,
filmed 12.
And what if people want to have a look? What are they looking for?
No, that is me commenting in the chat. It's Icebreaker.
Oh, Icebreaker. Oh, sorry, that's right. So Icebreaker. Make sure you look up Icebreaker, man, and support the great Liam, mate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Liam, man, you've been a star 2 weeks, man. Fucking, it's great having you on, mate. And you've come on at the right time. You had a good week, yeah. And the rest of you two, yeah, I kind of like yous, but you give me the shits, both of yous.
Pies.
All right, I think it's time to go. What do you reckon?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Go the Mighty Bombers.
Go the Blue Vegas. See you guys.
Bye.